sorry. I meant to tell you that. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the internet where your cesspool is my jacuzzi. I'm here with Bruce from Oregon and Schnitzel Ninja tonight.
Hey.
Hey.
Oh, I was going to say something, but it's still out of context. I can't say it now.
You could. I mean,
Do it.
Well, anyway. But
you
anyway.
could let people guess.
So, yeah. Well, there's that comedian lady from Wisconsin, and she talks about the Wisgussy.
Oh, no, that one.
And I feel like maybe that's what Schnitzel Ninja is talking about.
Oh.
Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us. So, we're going to go over the last, I don't know, like 2 or 3 videos. I think there's 3 that I want to go over. I took some notes, and these are Laura Owens' attorney's notes. Laura Owens' attorney, who will henceforth be known on this stream as Voldemort. I do not want to give him any more free advertising. I feel like I did a lot of that. If you guys have checked recently, you'll notice that even though my video was restored after the copyright strike that he put out, I removed it. I made it private. I didn't remove it. And then I did the same with any other videos where I was talking nicely about him. So I don't have anything nice to say anymore. I mean, I'm not going to rip off the guy's videos. Like, I'm not going to show him here and like play the whole thing again, even though I maintain that what I did was fair use. But I am going to go through some of the like key points that I want to argue from his video. This is for the purpose of discussion. This is not, I'm not printing this in a freaking newspaper and being like, read this instead of watching Voldemort's video, you know? So, okay, I don't know why this is so happy, but sure. Amy Lynn says, can I have a shout out for my happy divorce day? Yay me. Congratulations, I think.
Congrats. Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing. You know, you can go down to a courthouse and get married in like 15 minutes, and the justice of the peace can be like, sign here, witness here, you're done, you're married. Okay, 15 minutes, you're done. Divorce is a lot different. You know, you got to have lawyers, and you got to have, you know, settlement things, and the judge has to sign it, and it can go on and on and on. So when you're finally done, there can be a sense of relief.
Okay. So I'm gonna go through the highlights with you guys. We're gonna talk about some of the stuff that was said because there's like very clear evidence that what they're saying is not the truth. And their argument to that evidence is basically like, well, I never talked to that guy, or I never read that. But of course, you either read that or you're bad at your job. So which one is it? So we're going to get into that. We might talk briefly about that Medium article, the most recent one at the end of this video. But I'm not going to read it word for word. So my coverage on this case from now on is going to be a lot more kind of like this, where I'm lumping 2 or 3 things together. I don't want to give them that much attention anymore. I'm not going to be rushing to cover things. I'm just going to kind of like chill out, take my time. I also want to mention like something I tweeted about last week, which was that I felt that the lawyer's behavior was increasingly erratic and unpredictable. It's a little all over the place. There's this, kind of period of time where he'll be like, I want this to stop. I don't want any more fighting. Everyone should just let this go. And then the next day he comes on and he'll be like, I'm going to sue everybody. You know what I mean? So like, which one is it?
People on the naughty list.
Yeah, right. The thing that
luckily we have escaped the naughty list so far.
Yeah. I don't know why I did, but I'm grateful. So that's cool. So
I'm just a human-shaped moose. I can't be naughty or not naughty. I'm just out here living life.
Naughty or not naughty.
Yeah, I'm just,
Yeah.
I'm a moose. I eat moose food.
I'm not sure what that has to do with anything, but awesome. Oh my god.
I'm encouraging him not to put me on the naughty list.
Yeah. So I'm not going to be giving any more special attention to Laura Owens' lawyer from this point on. As far as the copyright lawsuit, I'm not going to get into that much tonight, guys, but I will say that even though the 10 days with YouTube was up, he does have a 3-year period to file a lawsuit on this. So I have talked to an actual copyright attorney, and I feel very like well informed and stuff like that. As a lot of you saw last week, There was some stuff that was pretty upsetting to me when somebody tried to kind of insert themselves and push their advice on me when I said I have advice from a lawyer, please stop. So that's all I really have to say about it. Is I have help from the people that I have asked for help, the people whose help that I want. I know that other people, may try to help me in their own way, but it's not wanted at this point.
Yeah,
So
there's an old saying that unsolicited advice is
right.
effectively always criticism.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it
And
definitely comes across that way.
we don't need to be criticizing people
No.
that are working
And
hard here.
yeah, another thing, we mentioned this last night, Bruce, but we found out about Legal Vice's Jeff passing away yesterday, and that was very sad. So I feel like there's just been a lot going on emotionally in the last week or so. So I haven't gotten around to doing this. I will make a separate video in regards to the copyright lawsuit, as far as like what I have to say to that. But I'm taking my time with it. I'm not going to stress myself out. And tonight I just want to go over the actual, notes that I took from the videos and what we can pick apart and kind of show like, hey, this isn't true. You know what I mean? So I
And I
will
think there's a
say,
lesson from Jeff that he recently was streaming.
Yeah.
And he said, hey, and it gets to all this lawfare that we're covering. Like, because it's like warfare, but for lawsuits, whether they're a paternity case or something else, OOP or whatever, just because you can do something doesn't mean you should do it.
mhm,
You
yeah,
know,
Mm-hmm.
every day we can try to be better and make our lives better than the day before. And that's what we should try to do. And if we do that, we will be honoring Jeff, Legal Vices, and that
right,
is my advice
yeah.
as well.
hmm I know some people have collected some clips and stuff that they were favorites of Jeff and stuff like that. If you have something you want to send to me, because I am going to try to make a little video out of them, please do. You can email them to me. Hang on, I'll put the email address here in the comments real quick. But I'm going to be working on that. So, did you have something to say, Stitzel?
No, I like that
Yeah.
saying that Bruce shared.
Jeff has been super supportive since I met him on Megan's stream. The stream where he fell asleep and started snoring into the microphone. He was like an instant friend. Like it took nothing for him to treat me like a friend. And so I was just like, oh God, this guy's so cool. And like, even though like we didn't talk very much, like a couple of months would go by or something, I like haven't really talked to the guy too much. He would like see if I was like struggling with something and it was obvious, or if I was like talking about it, then he would like DM me and be like, hey, is there something I can do to help? You know what I mean? Or like, like I said, before, this was my first year doing like YouTube like this. I didn't really start doing it until April or May. I want to say May, but I made my YouTube channel like a year ago. And so he would see me kind of struggling with just kind of dealing with criticisms and dealing with conflict and maybe not handling it the best way, or definitely not handling it the best way. I should put it that way. And he was always like very supportive, so I appreciated that, and I will miss him very much. So
Well, I know he was very fond of you and your coverage and everything you were doing, Lauren. So
yeah, it's I'm not going to talk about it anymore because I'll get bummed out, but okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is this video that came out. I want to say it was like a little over a week ago, and it was the one with the Santa hat and the rifle, I think, in the background. Or was that a different one? I don't remember. I know it's the one with the Santa hat, but
But not the beard, right?
Those are two different things.
okay, yeah.
The one with the beard, where they're like very festive, or a different
This one was called More Monday Maternity Madness.
Okay.
So I think was there a hat? I don't know. Let me look. Let me look and see if there was a hat.
Research.
I think they only did one video with Santa Claus.
I could have sworn he was wearing a hat, dude. Yeah, he was. He was wearing a Santa hat, but not the beard and everything in this one. All right. So I hopefully everyone knows what I'm referring to at this point. But okay. So he starts talking and he's saying that his attempts to talk about the case have not been super successful. And guys, these are my words, not his. And this is a point for like discussion, and this is for the purpose of, I should say, discussion, criticism, and argument. So if you want to see the whole thing and hear it like straight from the horse's mouth and everything, you got to go to his channel and watch his video. I will say that because I always have. Even though I no longer want to publicly support his channel or anything like that, or say go hear him out. That's the right thing to do if you want to hear the whole thing. I'm not going to regurgitate the whole thing for you right here. Okay.
Everyone should do what they want.
All right. So when he's talking on Twitter or his blog, it wasn't going so well, and I think we've all seen that. And so he tried the YouTube thing, and he seems like, I don't know, his attitude towards it seems to shift day by day. So sometimes he's just like generally like, this is so annoying, this is dumb, I'm going to stop making videos. But then other times he's like, there's some very smart people here, some people I want to talk to. You know what I mean? In the comments or whatever. So he says that people, reach out to him and ask him to post, whatever. And so that's why he keeps making the videos, but he keeps saying like his video is going to be his last for a while, and then it's not.
Yeah.
So he says he's had some good conversations with JFC representatives, which, first of all, that's bullshit. Like, there's no JFC representative. We're just a bunch of individual people, like part of the general public, who do not believe that somebody was pregnant with twins in this situation, given all the evidence against that. Not a cult. Just...
These generalizing labels have very low utility because you don't really understand who you're talking about. It's just this sort of vague, nebulous cloud of like lumping people in, and you don't even know if they deserve to be lumped in or not. So
Yeah.
I think the term has very low utility. That's why when I talk about things, I try to be as specific as possible. And, if I have a conversation with person A, I want to talk about person A. I don't need to give them a label or a cloud or some other generalization.
Right.
It's just not good for discipline and making good points.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So another thing that happened in this video, as I'm sure you guys remember, was he was talking about, like Omar and everything. I think that was this one.
Yes. It? Oh, the dead to me one.
Yeah, where he was like, he's dead to me, and then he had the rifle in the background, which is just like, and Bruce said it best. It was like, optically, this is not good.
Yeah, the optics aren't good. I mean, even if it's a defeatured item where it doesn't functionally work, I mean, the optics are just very bad.
And I think he knows exactly what he's doing. I think that it's just in his personality to want to intimidate people in whatever way he thinks would be intimidating.
Yeah.
So it was, in my opinion, a choice to have that visible.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, just like his choice to show a holstered weapon when talking about going to the June 10th hearing. Mm-hmm. He did that as well with what is presumably not a defeatured prop weapon. And I don't know if the AR-15 was as well or not. He said he was using it for a separate meeting, but come on, you can always
move it.
You can always take it off the screen. You can stop after 2 minutes and restart your video. I mean,
put a cat emoji over it or something.
Yeah, there's no reason to.
There's no good reason to have it on there.
There's no good reason to constantly have these firearms on screen while you're talking about, judges and lawyers that you maybe disagree with.
Yeah,
the optics are just no good.
I want to say the waving the gun when he was talking about, Judge Mata and all that. That was a little more concerning to me than just having it in the background. But then again, like when he showed the gun on the screen, that was like a handgun, right? Because I skipped over that part.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it was. This is just like, why are you showing us all of your firearms? Like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I don't know. It's just not useful.
Yeah. I mean, I'll say this again, just alluding to what Sensible Ninja said about intimidation and stuff. David and Laura do not intimidate me. They do not scare me. So I just want to make that very clear. They're not the reason I'm not covering the videos the way that I was before. It's just that after he, like threatened me and went through all that to like have my video taken down, I was just like, I no longer want to give this man the benefit of the doubt. So
Yeah, it makes, I mean, it makes you reevaluate, right? Like the situation, I guess. And it's maybe even in some sense, it's a good thing to reevaluate and have another approach.
Yeah, I think the thing for me was, I've got one video up there that's talking about the appeal or whatever, and I go through my points and I go through what I want to say. And what I realized was, if you look at a block of his tweets, or if you look at a video and then the next video or whatever, there's nothing really new. It's like the same assessment. There's the same generalization. There's the same lack of specificity. There's the same logical fallacies. There's the same lack of an argument that would convince me to change my position on
lack of evidence.
where I think this case is. So I don't know. I just don't find it useful to go over every single point line by line anymore.
It's like, I think it's one thing to maybe have a place where like all of everything is housed, right? Like maybe even the Padlet is something like that, where like every video is linked or every archive is linked just to have it, right? Like as a resource. But not every, I'm not saying like you guys don't need to do this, but I'm just thinking through in my mind, like, but not everyone has to cover every video, right? Like we know we have it somewhere and we know what we're getting out of it, right?
Yeah, like if there's something new to learn from, then that could be interesting potentially. But other than that, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, this last week was like the first time I haven't rushed to something to like cover it right away and just kind of like taking it all in. And I've actually like I took a step back and I was kind of like dealing with my own stuff. And then, now a week later, it's not really bothering me so much. Like it's still just as bad as when I first, heard about it. But like it's not stressing me out so much. So I'm not gonna rush to every video. I'm not gonna rush to every Medium post the way that I was before, because it's just like training. Because you hear that over and over and over again, it's exhausting. Like it's exhausting to try to argue against the same thing over and over again. So it is. But I was actually wrong, guys. The so it says here in my notes the tirade against YouTubers is actually in his next video. So I guess I was wrong about that. Let me see. Yes. Okay. So it was the one against the YouTubers was in the next day's video. Was Laura pregnant? 100% not clickbait. Was clickbait, by the way.
When he loses his license to practice in Arizona, he's definitely becoming a law YouTuber.
Well, that's not going to work out very well because he's threatening a small streamer who makes very little money and is in debt with a copyright lawsuit over non-monetized commentary of a non-monetized video. Now, what he said in response to people who asked about that and who told him, hey, Lauren didn't monetize the video. Hey, Lauren actually referred people to your video. Like he said, no, Lauren's video...
super chats.
Lauren's video is monetized because of super chats and Patreon. I was like, I was making $8 a month on Patreon at the time of that video.
Take it.
What is your fucking problem?
Well, monetization is a very specific setting within YouTube. So if you use that term to generalize to things like
it's incorrect.
A Venmo or something, like it's just not accurate.
Right.
So if you want to talk about like somebody got some Venmos or some Patreon money that month or something, like you have to be specific about that. And that may not have much to do with YouTube. It may if it's a super chat or something, but a lot of times people are leaving super chats because they appreciate the host and their commentary and their insight and their jokes and all of this. It's not because they are paying to see the content.
Exactly.
Because anybody can go see the content anytime they want. It's they want something extra. And so when you get a super chat, it's kind of for that. It's for the person. It's not for the content.
Right.
So I should also say, oh my God, I totally lost my train of thought here. What was I about to say? Oh, yeah, right. So my birthday was also the next day or the day after. I can't remember. I was like, I'm not going to be able to stream or make videos for the next couple of days. I have my birthday. I have Wentworth whatever. And so people were sending a lot of, super chats, say happy birthday and stuff like that, too. And I made less than $70 in super chats. Most of them completely unrelated to anything we were talking about, like, so or saying like, I'm sorry the guy's such an asshole, and it's not my fault that he's an asshole, so
Right.
why should he get,
it's not your fault other people think he's an asshole.
why should he be compensated for that? Speaking of super chats, Karen Carson, thank you for the $5. He also knows the thin line between threat and perceived threat legally. That's a good point.
Yeah, I think I think he's very similar to Laura in this, well, in a lot of ways actually. But in the sense that he knows exactly what he's doing when he does it.
Right.
And I think he gets pissed when he's found out and tries to say, oh, well, I'm just bad at blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Well,
in my opinion,
like, I didn't read the Mike text is a little ridiculous because that was an exhibit in his court case. So like saying he didn't read those text messages for her privacy, I don't believe it. In my opinion, he's saying that to cover up for the fact that he cannot ignore that Mike's, authenticated messages show Laura in an abusive light.
Also, I think he's lazy as fuck, in my opinion, and probably didn't want to read through that. That fucking, it's long ass, lots of 2,500 pages. It's really long. Like, it's super long.
Cat Lady Ballerina, thank you for the 5. I leave super chats because my parents don't give me enough attention.
Oh no.
We'll give you attention. It's okay. All right, let's get back to the reading here. So this is the Santa hat video before the YouTuber freak out. Okay.
If I mute, it's because I'm coughing, by the way.
Well, then I'm gonna cry about it. Okay. So he mentions the Reddit subpoena, and as you guys know, the Redditor that he has tried to subpoena came on my stream the day we found out about this. So she, she made no money from doing those written recaps, bullet point recaps. So like she's giving her thoughts and stuff like that and her opinions within the posts. And he's trying to subpoena to get her personal information. She's somebody that I have never met. We hadn't even spoken until, I don't know, it's been less than a month because I first read her recap when she was doing it before like I knew I was going to read it. So like I think Bruce, you were probably on that stream. Snitchell was probably on that stream.
Yeah.
And we saw it on the Reddit, and we were just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna read this.
Oh, here it is.
Yeah. So like this person was doing this before I, was expecting them to do recaps, and B, like it was not a coordinated effort. Like it wasn't like something I plotted up and then was just like, hey, you better do this so nobody watches, Voldemort's videos. But like,
yeah, they really play into this cult narrative that there's some sort of shadow organization like orchestrating everything. Number one, there's no organization. Like, I don't know what people are going to do on Reddit. Nobody does. Dave doesn't. Omar doesn't. I don't. You don't. Like, people can do whatever they want out on the internet. It's like the Wild West. I mean, there's no organization at all. And even if you tried to create organization, the drama that would result from that would make itself implode anyway. So,
dude,
like, if we wanted to make a cult, it wouldn't even work.
Right. Jim Schuler, thank you for the $5. Was going to give this to Jingy, but since you're covering his channel, I don't have to. Put this in a court filing, little.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, man.
Jim is a troublemaker today.
He'll probably sue me for $5. Yeah.
Full moon.
Thank you, Jim. Appreciate it. So he, like the Redditor in question, when I read that, I was like, oh, this is great because I would rather like hear her opinions. I'd rather read her opinions. And she was like putting her commentary in the written recap, like after every line, I think, or something like that.
Yeah.
And so it's not like she was just like posting a transcript. That would be different.
Right.
So I read that and I was like, oh, this is great. And then so I asked at one point, like, oh, did you do a recap for this video? Because I had been out of town for a long time. Did you do a recap of this? Are you going to do a recap of this? And that's, how we started chatting. But like I said, we've never met. We didn't elaborately scheme anything to try to take views away from David's non-monetized anyways channel. It just didn't happen that way. So the fact that he's trying to get somebody's personal information over this is ridiculous.
It's insane.
It is really. And like, I don't know if a subpoena will ever be issued. I don't know if a judge will sign off on that. But the point is, he wants to scare people. And I don't want to give in to that. And so I've been pretty resistant thus far. Given everything that happened last week, I think like the heat just kind of came down on me a little bit. It's like one thing for a stranger to like not like me and say some stuff, or one thing for David to not like me and say some stuff. But like when you don't expect it from somebody, it's kind of like that hit me a little bit. And so that kind of affected the way that I, was doing things last week. But I don't want to be afraid. So I'm not going to stop covering the case. I'm not going to stop talking about why I think this is wrong, or like looking at the different videos or posts and saying this is manipulative or whatever. Like I don't want to stop doing that just because some people are going to be critical. And that's something that, again, I've had to learn a lot of lessons in the last year. I have a lot of lessons still to learn. This was one of them. I have to learn to not take things so personally, just kind of block and move on and whatever. And that's what I did. So just doing my best with all of this. But thank you for the $5. Justice for Clayton. Send the prison pants to Laura. I don't know if you guys saw this or not. Most people probably did. Hang on. Let me pull it up for you. But there's a story about me in prison pants when I was in San Francisco recently. Yes, I know you've heard it. And it's called Police Evacuated Me from Dirty Dancing in Front of a Crowd. Hold on.
Oh my god.
And that is where I was when all this stuff was going down in the beginning, when David was like threatening to sue me or whatever. Like I was in San Francisco when he first did his first video, and then I was in Australia. So here, I will play like a little tiny bit for you, and if you haven't seen this, I just
You were dirty dancing like Patrick Swayze?
It was pretty bad, dude. The ground and I skid like a kid on a slide. But that wasn't the only skid mark that day, because unfortunately I landed on my ass and I was wearing some yoga pants. My pants and shoes were covered in mud front and back, and my jacket was covered in mud on one side. Now remember when I said I did all of this in front of a crowd that was waiting for something? Well, that crowd was right there, which is why I went to the grass in the first place. I'm not sure what they were waiting for, but suddenly it was me that they had been waiting for. Because every time I tried to get up, I just slipped in the mud and fell again at a different angle. It was like I was doing some sort of new age interpretive dance for them. I'm a dirty, dirty dancer. And the interpretation
no.
Please save me from myself. So if you haven't heard that story yet, I'll put the link here in the comments real quick. Where did you guys go? There you are. But yeah, that was an interesting time going on in the middle of all of this. So anyways, moving on to something.
Were they in one of these hipster lines for like, croissant donuts or something or whatever?
Cronuts.
That the kids do?
Yeah. Okay. So anyways, David starts talking about how, every JFC YouTube channel, which I don't even know what a JFC YouTube channel is, but okay.
Yeah,
is talking about him, talking about Laura for money. Like people are only talking about this or the Reddit subpoena or anything because people make money. Not true. I mean, people make money when they're talking about this, but that's not the reason we're talking about it. Like I've been doing this and talking about this case long before I was monetized. So it's not like I didn't care and then suddenly I did because I found out I could make money on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like if you have a monetized channel, you'll get some money based on YouTube's AdSense revenue and all that jazz.
And you were doing this before.
Yeah. Here's the thing. If a story is interesting or if there's some new information about a story, it's interesting to make a video about it. If there's something more interesting, like take Dave Neal, he'll make the more interesting video first. And then maybe he'll make the next interesting video. And if he wants to make 3 videos in a day, he'll make the top 3 videos. And if you are the topic that's number 4 on the list, you might not get a video made today. So, I mean, it's arbitrary. Okay. It's not like people are like, we have to take this one case and make a whole bunch of videos and someone's commanding you to do it. There's no cult. There's no JFC channels. Like that there's no scientific test I can go do to find a YouTube channel and see if it's a JFC channel or not. It's just absurd.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. Let's try to get through some more of this. So he's talking about PS Creative at that point. Then he goes, I don't know, like somebody's threatening to sue me or like filed a bar complaint against me, and that's not normal behavior, which is hilarious because he threatened to sue people for no reason. So what? Pot calling the kettle black much? So he's just like bitching basically about JFC YouTube and PS Creative and how they're being disrespectful or whatever. I don't think he used the word disrespectful. Maybe he did. I don't remember. But then he's kind of throws Laura under the bus at this point.
What?
Because he says
Oh my.
Laura told him the audio wasn't good, so he tweeted about it. And he says maybe there's some audio that's better, but like the fact that he's glossing over that and will not apologize is saying so much. Because if you like recognize that your client didn't tell you the full truth, maybe just maybe it's time to like look at things with a different lens. You know what I mean? Because like this is not the first time she's been less than honest. Like he knows that she in her deposition admitted she altered the ultrasound or the sonogram or whatever, and she changed her story on the day of court. He was there when that happened about the Planned Parenthood LA thing. So dude, like,
It was funny this morning. Megan played a clip at the end of one of her live streams, which was from the June 10th hearing, and it was DSG saying like, well, my client's done some things that we all think are really stupid. Like, wait a like, it's June 10th in the hearing. You're throwing your client under the bus right now. Like,
oh man.
Mhm.
And I had forgotten about that until she played it again. I was like, oh, geez.
Yeah, he has a tendency to do that, it seems.
Justice for Clayton, thank you for the $5. JK, I need the pants for my Christmas pic with the fam. I will send them to you. Don't worry.
Huh.
All right. Okay. So he starts talking about how he's, a First Amendment lawyer. He's talked about, defamation, copyright, all that stuff. So he's not worried about the podcast lady trying to sue him. He says that sitting on air and reading a bar complaint earns you a counterclaim. But he read out Judge Mata's bar complaint, so is he earning himself a counterclaim?
And doesn't he read some of Mike's complaint?
Mm-hmm.
What a fucking tool, in my opinion.
Also, Voldemort cannot sue me for reading Mike's bar complaint. That's stupid as fuck. Okay. Claims it would be a waste to go back and forth to sue each other, but if you have some axe to grind, okay. He thinks, some people don't have anything better to do. Are you kidding? You're joking, right? You're the one threatening lawsuits, sir. Also, the studio rep.
That's a little victim blaming, in my opinion. Like turning it around.
No, for sure. I mean, that's their specialty, Laura and Voldemort. It's the DARPO strategy. So, so she's not the studio rep. Obviously, is not a part of JFC. She had never talked to JFC until Voldemort himself. I don't know which name is worse at this point. Had posted that picture on Twitter with the studio's logo on it. So that was stupid of him to do, and he still won't take responsibility for that. So,
now, do you guys think it was? Do you think they were baiting people to bring it up, or do you think it was just an oversight?
Baiting people to bring it up. What do you mean?
Like, do you think that Laura okayed that picture knowing that she had turned the mug outward so that the name of the studio would be in the picture? And that...
Personally, I don't think so. Personally, I don't think it was planned. But I mean, I could definitely be wrong about that. So
I don't know. Just curious. That was something that had crossed my mind.
Yeah.
Generally, when you're looking at, is something a conspiracy or is something incompetence? incompetence is almost always the correct answer.
Yep.
But with her, the thing about her, she like plans a lot of shit out.
Yeah.
It's just interesting to think about.
Maybe.
Okay, so now we're gonna get into the video with the tirade against YouTubers or whatever. Okay, wait. Okay, I missed some of the first one, didn't I? Yes, I did. We're just gonna cover these as if they're all one giant blob. How about that? So he was talking about the Reddit subpoena.
That's how I eat Thanksgiving dinner.
A giant blob.
That's disgusting, man. Okay, so he talked about the Reddit subpoena issue. He says that because he has all these years of experience in copyright, he thinks that his word is more valuable than anyone who's never been in a courtroom or discussed copyright. I mean, people who are on YouTube for years and years probably know a little bit about copyright. I don't know. Not me. I've only been here for a year, but like I said, I've spoken to a copyright lawyer and I totally disagree with a lot of what he's saying.
I mean, here's the thing. If you're saying that, hey, my argument is right because I'm an authority, that's sort of an appeal to authority logical fallacy. You can't only say it's right because you're an authority. You have to be able to back it up with the science, the evidence, the process.
Yes.
You have to be able to say, I'm an authority and here's X, Y, and Z. Here's all the reasons. Sort of like the interview we did with your dad the other night. You have to go through all the details properly.
Well, he's been on Dr. Phil, Bruce, so...
What? He was?
You knew that, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, boy.
All right. Anyways, so...
/essing us.
He brings up that he used the DMCA thing to take down my video, but he thinks no one's going to care to hear him talk about that. But I think that he actually just doesn't want to discuss it in detail because then people will pick apart why his argument was wrong. He says, if the DMCA notice is not sufficient or you want more information, you can ask the court to issue a subpoena. It doesn't mean a lawsuit's pending, but if you get more information, you can start a dialogue. Well, he knows who I am, my face, my name, and all that. So I don't know why this was relevant. Because the thing is, I messaged him a long time ago when he accidentally, or on purpose, I guess, just let it go, posted Laura's personal information in one of his tweets about filings because he was like, it's no big deal, even though they were saying she was getting harassed. So I was like, hey, I just want to let you know you might want to take this down. And so I contacted him personally. So he knows me, he knows my name, he knows my face. My email is in my Twitter bio. He could email me if he needed to. I don't want him to now. You should email Omar instead, or a lawyer. If I officially, if we officially get involved in a lawsuit, then he would need to email a lawyer. But
right.
But yeah. So he says, you can issue a subpoena. You can start a dialogue that way if you get the information. But David then starts criticizing the Redditor, who's a very nice girl. We talked to her. I think Bruce, were you there when I had her on? Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
So she was very nice and very unsuspecting of any of this because she had nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
So he says that the Redditor talked to me, made some comments, and updated her posts. And claims that she described the videos rather than summarized them. So, what? Okay, that's ridiculous. So, she may have talked to me, but I had nothing to do with writing the freaking recaps. I didn't correct her, be like, go in and edit this or whatever. I think if she edited anything, she probably went in and added a disclaimer, just being like, hey, this is where you need to go find the video if you want to watch the whole thing and that kind of stuff. But he says that because she described them rather than summarizing them, you want to call that fair use? Good luck, honey.
Well, what's the difference between describe and summarize?
So I guess in his world, there's a huge difference. But to me, it's if you use those words, I'm going to think they're interchangeable. But if you say summarizing, I guess you give some key points. And I guess he's saying that she described them in the sense that she
it's very weird because
details.
I think I mentioned this before. There's dozens of subreddits, per NFL football team that describe every single game. You know, they're not just summarizing the game. I mean, they may do that too, but you know, you can go through. There's live, what do you call it? Live commenting on Reddit that you can do, and for every NFL game, there's one of these, you know, live threads, and people will describe what's happening, describe the game as it's happening, and you know, this is perfectly reasonable. You know, nobody's retransmitting the broadcast.
Right.
Nobody's retransmitting even the transcript of the broadcast for these NFL football games. So I just don't understand why anybody cares about any of this. It just seems like such a non-issue. To go back to what Legal Vices would say, sometimes just because maybe you think you can do something, it doesn't mean you should.
Right.
Yeah.
Nobody is being hurt by any of this
And I mean, he
description.
went out of his way to try to give David some advice on this issue, and David was not very receptive to it, obviously.
Right.
Justice for Clayton says Loud Little Ducky does good work on YouTube. I just wanted to point that out. Loud Little Ducky's here in the chat with us, so just send her some love if you haven't yet.
Definitely.
For sure.
Okay, let's get on with it. So he's talking about that. He says, "Good luck, honey," or whatever, which is like just he has a lot of very, very thinly veiled misogyny, in my opinion.
Oh,
That is my opinion. So
Yeah, what is this, Mad Men or something? Give me a break.
right. So he says the court hasn't issued the subpoena yet. So he's pretty sure it will go through, which I don't know, man. I hope not, because that's ridiculous. And describes the two options the Redditor has. So either to try to quash it, like file a motion to quash, like Chase J. Jones, or to fight.
There you go.
He says the Redditor didn't sound too worried about the subpoena. So she never said that. Actually, I think we asked and she said she was a little stressed about it. I don't know why he's saying that. Like she's not too stressed about it unless he's like watching a stream, which first of all, why, dude? Because you said you don't follow this very closely on social media. You said you don't watch streams. Why? Also,
without citing a source or making a quotation with a URL or something, I would always be skeptical of someone saying, person A told me XYZ, or person A said XYZ to me. Yeah. Always be kind of skeptical of this, because that's effectively hearsay, right? Like, oh, this person told me that. Now I'm telling you that. Go get it from the source. Go get it from the source if you can. Sometimes you can't, but when you can, get it from the source.
Cassie says, did he tell you to smile too?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Good luck, honey. I mean, you know, yeah.
Smile. You should smile more. Fuck off. All right. So he says the court hasn't issued the subpoena and the clerk usually issues it, but it has now gone to a Trump-appointed judge that he knows personally. I don't know why that's important, but okay, man. He's pretty sure the subpoena will go through, and he describes the options like we just said. He claims the Redditor didn't sound too worried. He doesn't want people stealing his stuff and not giving him views. I will tell you right now, the reason I'm not viewing his channel is because he pulled this shit. So I was going to his YouTube channel, giving him legitimate views and like watch time or whatever. But he pushed me away with his threats. So the thing is, like, people have to like you to want to watch you. So people, now you've got a bunch of people who are probably clicking on that stream or whatever and like reading the transcript, or people who click on hear that he's trolling like he was in the video where he says 100% not clickbait, but it was. And they're like, I don't want to watch this anymore. Or you have, you know, just people who just generally don't like you and are hate watching you, and it's not going to get you anywhere. Not long term, because those people are going to get bored eventually, and then you're left with what? No one who likes you. You're not a likable person at this point. So you can't really make a side gig out of YouTube if everyone fucking hates you and you're threatening to sue YouTubers. You got to stop that. And this all goes back to the same with the cult thing. It's like you have to start recognizing people as individuals. You have to recognize that they're people with their own thoughts and feelings, and that we're all just part of the general public. It's not a cult. Like you have to start treating people like you're not above them, I guess. So
the other thing is, you know, he always makes these claims like, oh, I'm pretty certain this motion will go through. But the problem is his track record is pretty bad, at least in this case. Like his motions didn't go through. He didn't. win the first case. He hasn't won the
Right.
appeal yet. His
Well,
track record is pretty bad.
I mean, that's the credibility issue also is just
Yeah.
kind of like exacerbated by the fact that he's been so grandiose about like, oh, we're definitely going to win. There's no way we lose. Or if Laura was offered a 6-figure settlement, I'd tell her no, don't do that. Like all of those things coupled
Yeah.
with how the hearing actually went, like you lose credibility when you're that cocky and that bad. Like,
Yeah.
you can't be both.
You're setting your expectations too high,
Right.
and you're not engendering trust. It's just not a good strategy,
Yeah.
especially for PR, and we can divide things into the legal domain and the public relations, court of public opinion domain,
Mm.
because I think the second one is more interesting, actually. Like the court system will play itself out.
Mhm.
There's lawyers. They're there. They exist. They will do their work. The
Mhm.
court of public opinion is much more interesting from my perspective.
Yes.
Right.
Agreed.
So, like as you guys probably know, lots of people like watch his videos to use it for their commentary. They provide context for their arguments. Some people might read the recaps and then be like, "Oh, I really want to hear the rest of what this guy had to say," and then go watch his video. Like that's how
Mhm.
shit works.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
I don't understand why he doesn't understand how that works. Like I don't know. But he's getting all upset about this person who's probably and me too, like probably brought a lot more publicity to his platform, and now he looks like a giant asshole. So,
Yeah. And you know what I was reminded of the other day is he likes to bring up, like flat earthers a bunch in his weird arguments, which it has nothing to do with this case.
mhm,
But I actually watch a lot of flat earth and flat earth debunking content on YouTube. And I
Right.
have for a long time. So guys like Simon Dan, Creaky
Mhm.
Blinder, and these folks. And the interesting thing is all these guys, whether they're the flat earthers or the flat earth debunkers, they all do this thing where they just play each other's videos and do commentary throughout it. They all
Yeah.
do it. And none of them copyright strike them. None of them sue each other. It's just like, that's just how it is because
Yeah.
they're having debate and they respond. Someone will make a claim, someone will respond to it. They'll have another response, they'll have another response. And it's good because you can go through and listen to like all 4 videos and draw your own conclusions.
I mean, that's how it should be, in my
Yeah.
opinion. But, Reg Angel says only 167 likes. Guys, you're making my mods very sad. Please hit the like button so they'll stop crying.
Right?
All right. So he's talking a little bit more about the studio stuff. We talked about how she told him there's bad audio and he's like not really taking responsibility for that. So he is claiming that the studio and JFC were attacking them, which could, he says, be illegal for a number of reasons. He says that he emailed the studio and that Layla from the studio basically told him to jump into a lake. That's not what happened. I will be
What the
live
heck?
streaming. I'll be live streaming with the studio on Thursday, and we're gonna talk
Ooh.
about that. So that's not how that went down. When he emailed them, he was not professional. He was not polite. It was ugly. So
man.
I will let them. I'm obviously not going to disclose that information. They're going to have to tell you, because I feel like that's their voice and they need to, share or not share what they want to. But I can tell
Right.
you this much is that it was not professional.
What a surprise.
So we'll be streaming with Layla again on Thursday, and she's going to give you guys an update and some more information on everything. So she's been very busy. That she was on a work trip, and so not a lot happened last week. But they're not like letting it slide. They're not letting it go away. It's just that they've been very busy. So on Thursday, I don't know what time yet. I will let you guys know as soon as I know. We'll be with them and they can answer some of your questions. So, all right. So then he says a lot of the JFC narrative is sensationalized bullshit. A lot of I would say most of what we say is backed up by public documents and like legal findings and stuff like that. So it's not like we're just like pulling this out of our ass and being like, oh, this is probably what happened. You know what I mean? Like we've seen the forensically verified text.
I mean, if he files a motion to compel lunch, And I think that's one of the dumbest things I've seen in court. And that's my opinion. Is that sensationalizing it? I mean, I don't know, maybe. Like, I just think it's interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know. What is so sensational about it? I mean, we're not like, I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know, dude. Stephanie, thank you very much. Stephanie's a new mod. She's very good at it, though.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's see. Carrie, thank you for the 10. Appreciate you. I appreciate you, Carrie. I'm sure everybody does. So, all right, let's see what was next. So he thinks that, JFC take on this stuff is like not that meaningful. The real story is different from how YouTubers present it. No.
I mean, look, if there's some magic information and some magic conclusions you can draw from that information, that should have been in all of their court filings up to and including June 10th. And it wasn't there. And he keeps saying, maybe I'll make a video about why I believe her. And then, in the last one, which I think you're referring to as clickbait, he was like, yeah, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to make that video. And it's like, well, okay, like, thanks for nothing. Like, how am I supposed to be convinced? I can't be convinced by someone just telling me they believe something for no good reason. Okay. Like a feeling, like, oh, I felt like she was pregnant. Like a feelings are not a valid pathway to truth. Evidence is. Okay.
Okay. So he's saying like that's not conjecture. He himself has admitted he's not gone into the details of all past matters. And that's important. If you're saying people are lying about past matters, you need to look at the evidence and familiarize yourself with the situation of the past matters. Otherwise, you keep threatening people with defamation lawsuits, but you're the one defaming people, and you had access to the evidence. So it's willful.
It's sort of willful ignorance. I don't know if it's defamation, but when you make a claim like, oh, Dave Neal lies all the time, or Omar's a liar, I need to see a URL, a timestamp, a quote, the refutation of that quote, and then maybe you will convince me.
Like we have.
But if you just make a claim and then move on to the next tangent, I'm not convinced. Claims by themselves are not convincing.
Yeah.
This is how science works. You can't just make a claim in the Journal of Medicine and expect people to believe you. You have to back it up very heavily in a disciplined way and convince people, and then you can.
Jules OMN, watching various videos, DG reminds me of a 5th grade bully goes after the small guy. Yep. He knows they're the only ones he can go after. He's an adult acting like a 5th grader that needs to grow up. That's very true. The difference here is I'm the small guy, but I'm actually quite large. So I'm also not afraid. So he's going to have to waste all of his time and money trying to sue me for like a $5 award he'll never see because I'm too busy paying off my debt. Like, what do you want from me?
I think he wants your red Stratocaster.
That's probably true. I would break it before I gave it to him. All right.
That's rock and roll, kids. Real rock and roll.
All right. So he, admitted he hasn't gone into the details. That's going to be important later. He's talking about Greg and the protective order. He says that Laura has obtained a new/renewed order of protection. That is not necessarily true. Greg has not been served with anything to my knowledge.
Yeah.
So at this point in time, that is not true. She has not obtained anything. To my knowledge.
I mean, if you do the thing, if you complete the step where they're going to go serve it, what is that called?
It has to be served. I don't know. But in OOP has to be served.
Well, okay. I guess what I'm saying is from a process perspective, if I have to do actions XYZ, and then it's up to the court or police or whoever to go serve something, then I'm done, right?
What's that?
Oh my gosh! So if I have to do paper,
you have no more steps to take.
Yeah, let's say I do paperwork XYZ, and then my paperwork is done, and it's up to the court and the police to go serve someone or something. Then I'm done, right?
I thought you meant you were done talking. I was like, sir?
No, I mean,
what?
I
What
don't know.
did I
mean,
do?
I think it's just nitpicking the stages of a process, right?
Right.
Because
Mhm.
I think the way Laura speaks, which I think Jack Fox pointed out in his reviews, is that she's very process oriented in her speech. And so I think to her, she's like, well, I did everything I need to do, so I'm done. So it's done.
Mhm.
And I think we're like, well, it hasn't been served, so it's not done.
It does have to be served though, or it
It's
can't
just,
be. I don't
it's
think
just
it can be enforced if it's not served because she had
oh,
dodged service on.
correct.
Exactly. She
Yeah,
dodged
yeah,
it for 3 times in a row, and it was never
yeah.
served. Yeah.
So it may be that she can't get anything enforced yet, but it's like maybe her steps in the process are complete. And I think that's
Mhm.
what they were talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Hang on
I'm
one
gonna
second. I just
grab
want to
something of Omar's in a minute.
pin this. His balls, or
I don't
okay.
know.
You don't have to tell us that. Just do it.
Spicy nuts?
All
I
right.
don't
So
know.
then
Yeah.
he comes back to talking about me. He mentions that I counter notice his DMCA notice to YouTube. And he wants to talk about the people's thoughts on the time frame for the lawsuit. Notice he has not yet mentioned that his person that he wishes was his boyfriend was the one who filed on my behalf. Not yet, anyways. So he talks about his experience with the dirty.com, which, you know what, I don't care how much experience you had with the dirty.com. It's not YouTube. It's not this. So he's talking about the DMCA process. He says DMCA allows content to be hosted after the 10-day period. True. But if he wants to, keep the content off the website, then he should file a lawsuit for copyright infringement. So he has 3 years to do that. He says that he can't take that action yet as he hasn't received the certificate of registration. So you guys remember during my stream when I was covering his video, he then went, because it was a little bait and switch that he was trying to do, he then went and registered for copyright during my stream, just to be a dick, just because. So he actually did not watch my video, as he admitted himself. He said he watched enough to know it wasn't fair use. But knowing him and his due diligence in like his cases and stuff like that and his actual work, like he's like, I haven't looked into past cases and shit like that, or I didn't read that. You know what I mean? So of course he didn't watch my video. You know what I mean? So he's talking about that, and he's saying, the host says, safe harbor, but has to review the complaint to take it down to retain safe harbor. If you're the infringer and you think the DMCA is bogus, then you have the right to counter notice, which is what I did. Then he says, he's talking about, the process taking months, and how the certificate will be valid on the date he applied. He talks about special handling from the Copyright Office. And then he's talking about the price of the process. So, like, I guess he could like speed it up, but it would cost hundreds of dollars or something. He himself finds his video not to be valuable, so he's not expediting the process, which is hilarious. Because if he takes me to court, I'm going to show a clip of him saying his video is not fucking valuable. But
yeah,
okay.
I mean, it's not like he's written War and Peace here. I mean,
no, dude.
We're fucking around on YouTube, guys. Like, it's not that big a deal.
Mm-hmm. So he's talking about how he can still sue me for infringement, for statutory damages when he gets his certificate. He can ask for the maximum, I guess, of up to $150,000, which is extreme, and even he doesn't think that he's going to get that. But everybody's going to request that. It's ridiculous. It has to be something crazy to actually be, to actually get that much money. But he says he could make me pay any money that I made from the video, which was nothing, guys, because the video was demonetized, as I said. He refuses to acknowledge that. But attorney's fees are also on the table, so it could be an expensive lesson for Lauren. Game on, bitch.
So dumb.
He's happy to argue fair use in court, especially if I continue to believe that what I did was fair use, seeing as he's won these kinds of cases in court. I haven't seen him win much of anything, and I do still believe that was fair use. So, fuck you.
Miku has a good point. If he sues you, be sure to include in the exhibits all of the videos where he's got pew-pews all over the place.
Oh yeah, sure.
Huh.
That won't go well for him.
Ann Tuttle, thank you for the $50. You're awesome. She says you are the best. I think Ann is the best. So we're gonna have to fight about it. Thank you, Ann. I appreciate it. All right, let's see. What do we got next? Okay, he's talking about he wants to, turn the temperature down. He wants everyone to leave Laura alone and let her go on with her life. He said, he just wants everyone to forget about it, which is totally unfair to her victims, which I know he doesn't consider them victims, but he also admitted he hasn't looked into their cases at all. Even the stuff that were exhibits in the case that he represented Laura on. So I don't think that he really has any authority to say whether someone was a victim or not. But that's just my opinion.
That's the thing. Like, on one hand, he'll say, like what he said about Mike's video, like Mike's situation, that
Right.
like, oh well, I haven't spoken with Mike about it. I don't really know the whole story. I can't really speak to that. But then, like, on the other side of his asshole, he'll say like all this fucking bogus shit, which is the fucking bogus shit that Laura has claimed. In my opinion, it's fucking bogus shit.
Mhm.
As and stated as though it's fact. So like, you can't have it both ways.
Yeah.
Voldemort.
Jeez. Yeah, I mean, and the minimization was what really got to me, where he's like, oh, this guy got trips to wherever and a watch and blah, blah, blah. It's like, I don't care if you give someone $1 million. It
Right.
doesn't give you the right to abuse them.
I don't know if you guys
not
remember
right.
this, but that was when I blocked him on Twitter, was when he started saying
Yeah.
that stuff. Because like
Yeah.
like I said in a video after that, when I covered his tweets for the first time, like my abuser who faked brain cancer took me to Austria, and it was a beautiful place and it was a great time of year. She had a wonderful
Mhm.
family, but I was still fucking miserable because she
Yeah.
was an abusive person. It
Mhm.
doesn't matter where you are or how much money they spend on you. They can still be abusive.
Exactly. And I mean, it doesn't make a difference, but if you break it down even more, Mike didn't even ask for that stuff. I'm sure you
Mhm.
didn't even ask for that trip. Again,
No.
it doesn't matter, but that it's like, it's another layer added to it, right? And I also have an ex who faked a brain tumor.
Mhm.
So didn't claim it was cancer, but
Mhm.
claimed he had a tumor. And it's what got me, like, we had broken up, and it's what got me back into the relationship after we were apart for like 3 months.
It's like, unfortunately, more common than people realize, because like I never spoke about that until years later. Like I never said anything about that because it's like embarrassing to have like given this person all of that like benefit of the doubt and like
Yes.
really believed them and really like stuck around and like done whatever I had to do with her. When she was like, she would like fake seizures at night, and so she would like jerk and stuff like that. So when we were rooming, when we were off at swim meets, I would have to go and like comfort her or whatever, and she would do that anytime she wanted my attention. So like the way that people
Oh.
use that as like a mechanism to control people is actually insane.
Manipulation,
But like,
control.
too many. I bet there's like too many people out there who are just like afraid or embarrassed or like don't want to talk about it. You know what I mean? Because that's like it's so difficult, because not only because like I have to acknowledge that I was manipulated in that way, and that because like looking back, I'm like, common sense, dude, common sense. But also, it's like I have to remember everything that I actually missed out on in my life during that time because of that person.
Yes.
So
Yes.
And circling back to what you were saying in the beginning, there is a way for everybody to just stop caring about this case. And that is just to drop all these OOPs and restraining orders, get rid of these dumb TEDx videos,
right.
pay the legal bills for the Clayton judgment, and then just walk away. And then you could just disappear forever.
Right.
Okay. Just get rid of everything and walk away.
Exactly.
But
And
of
she
course,
has
they
outs.
won't do that. They won't do that.
No, I don't think she's, and this is not a dig at her. I just don't think she's a person who is capable of acknowledging all of that, acknowledging everything she's done to people. It's probably like too fucking overwhelming.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, you don't have to acknowledge it. You just have to drop all of the things.
I'm just saying, like,
And
for her, like, if she
yeah,
were to change as a person, right? Like, because if she drops all this stuff, but then goes
mhm.
and does it to another person, like, we're gonna fucking be there. Like, sorry, we're gonna be there. We just are. Or, well, I am. I won't speak for
Yeah, I mean, you would have to walk away and live a, a nice
right,
quiet life
right,
of
and to like to start the first step of that journey is
yeah,
to self-reflect and to acknowledge, like, yeah, I did that shit, and like try to get help. I just don't
yeah,
think that she has the skills
right.
that would make her capable of doing that. But even still, she has outs. She can
Yeah.
say she got brain damage from riding horses and she fucked up. She can say, which I think is actually true in my opinion. I think that's
Oh.
probably part of what is part of her situation.
Hmm.
Um, just an opinion. She could blame autism. She could come out and say, like, yeah, I have it and I did this stuff and like I talked with blah blah blah, make up another fucking doctor, right? And say like this is, they said that like I did therapy and this is what they said, like, is the reason I did all this shit. Like she has outs and
Yeah, I
she
mean,
has to do that.
humans can adapt and cope with a lot. They can rationalize a lot. It's true. Whether it's true or not, I mean, maybe it is true.
Mhm.
Maybe it's not, but you still rationalize something in
Yeah.
order to
Or
proceed
say like,
because you need to wake up every day and put one foot in front of the next.
yes. She could even say like, I'm really suicidal like all the fucking time. And like in order to stop myself from offing myself, like sorry if I wasn't supposed to say suicidal.
You're
Um
good.
um that I acted out in these different ways. And like, like there's just I could go on, but I won't.
Yeah.
Mhm.
JFC Mod says abusers often buy gifts as part of the abuse cycle. That's definitely true. Also, I just wanted to point out that Amy Lynn's celebratory divorce cupcakes have
Oh,
arrived. I just wanted to point that out.
I'm jealous of the cupcakes for
Yeah.
sure. Oh man.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Anyways,
Wait, what kind are they?
oh, I don't know. Amy, tell us.
Mhm.
Um, okay, so we're gonna move on to the next one here, and then guys, in this video that I'm about to recap, some of it is where he talks about like Omar and other YouTubers and stuff, and he, says Omar's a liar, and Omar's dead to him and all that, and that Omar lied about him being unprofessional. So we actually have the emails, and we're gonna look at them. So you're gonna see and
Well,
judge for yourselves
I
whether or
mean,
not
it's
he's professional.
here's my problem. I don't even need to see the emails because if somebody has an opinion that someone is unprofessional, that's their opinion. I
Yeah.
can't say just because they have an opinion that they're a liar. To prove that they're a liar, I have to demonstrate that they said X and they knew X was false and they intentionally somehow communicated that they wanted to say X even though they knew it was false. Okay, that's the criteria for lying and proving it. Okay, otherwise, it's whether I think DSG is unprofessional. I think Omar is unprofessional. These are just opinions, and opinions are not lying. Okay, they're just opinion. And you can say, I think your opinion's wrong, but like, so what?
Mhm.
So when he says, "Oh, Dave Neal lies all the time," or "Omar's a liar," now we've got two cases. I need to see the evidence laid out in very pedantic, organized, disciplined fashion.
And that's the
And
problem, Bruce. He doesn't
then
know how to do that.
if you do that, you will convince me because I am ready to change my position on almost anything if presented with sufficient evidence.
Yeah.
Also, I want to clarify that I'm not trying to make excuses for her or for her behavior. I'm just trying to point out to her that she has different avenues if she wants to try to dig herself out of this fucking hole.
Mhm.
She could she could say it's because of A, B, and or C, and like admit that she lied, admit that she did this stuff, and fine, fucking blame it on something else, whatever. Like, but at least that would like let up on the guys. Maybe that would stop her from doing it in the future. Blah blah blah.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. Hang on, guys. Let me pull right back up here. So this is where he starts talking about Omar. And he, y'all know how much he loved Omar because of how he even, like, and the way he was like calling him on the phone and stuff like that. Like,
how it starts out with everybody with him, from what I've heard, is that like take this Marcus guy for example, right? Who's writing the appeal?
I was like, who's Marcus?
Marcus.
Oh, from Firm Woodnick.
Firm Woodnick. So he
They're my favorite.
He says, he's, I have nothing against him. Like, he seems like a decent guy, blah, 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 whatever. Right? Like, he has nothing bad to say about this guy.
That's like the predicate to when you're like, well, I don't mean to be racist, but, and then you say something really racist, like I don't have anything against Marcus, but like, oh, well, you're about to tell me what you have against him then.
And well, here's the but in his thing, which he won't say until it happens, which it's going to happen. If Marcus says anything that refutes anything Gingras has said, or like lays out facts that like Gingras like huge misses in his appeal, wink, wink, that he's gonna now become pissed at Marcus, and Marcus is gonna become the enemy. So people start on his good side. When he realizes he can't manipulate or pull the wool over someone's eyes, then they become his enemy.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
If you won't go to lunch with me, oh my gosh.
You're going in the burn
book. Lawfare is on. We could have had chicken parm sandwiches, but no.
Chicken parm sandwich sounds so good right now.
Right?
What does?
I said chicken parm sandwich sounds so good.
A schnitzel sandwich.
It's schnitzel adjacent.
It is.
Pam Arnold, thank you for the $5. There are no excuses for her. She enjoys causing harm to these men. I agree. She enjoys controlling their lives in some capacity. She has no conscience. Evil. I agree on pretty much all those counts. Yep. Okay, so he's talking now about how he says Omar has an obsession with sitting online and talking about him, which is hilarious. Because Omar talks about so many other things, and he spent a minuscule amount of time talking about David, in my opinion, but like Voldemort, my bad.
Yeah, I mean, even just the Owens v. Echard case, I think if you took all those videos and lives Omar did and compared them to all the other content Omar has, it would be a tiny fraction mathematically.
Right.
Like
it'd be what Voldemort is packing.
Yeah. Like if you
think tiny minuscule amount.
If you think he's obsessed, show me your Excel spreadsheet that proves it. Otherwise, I'll be waiting for real details.
Otherwise, I'm having the babies.
God damn it.
Oh boy.
Okay, so he's saying even though he was nothing but friendly and professional to Omar, that Omar lied about the response David gave him as saying that David was unprofessional. He says Omar is a liar. He's now dead to him. And that if Omar can't cut it in law, maybe he can depend on a bright YouTube career, which is insane. I mean,
that's insane. If you have an opinion, you have an opinion. It could be good. It could be bad. It could be neutral. I mean, I don't know, but it's not a lie. A lie is very specific when we talk about, epistemology. Okay, there's like a lie, and then there's like bullshitting, which is literally a scientific term, by the way, which is like not quite the same as a lie. And then there's just like you made an error. There's an opinion. There's a statement of fact. There's speculation. These are all different categories of speech, and you have to be very careful about what you're talking about when you're classifying these things. And this DSG guy just is not careful when I review his writing or his videos or whatever.
No, not at all. And I know that you, Bruce, do your management videos every Tuesday, right? Okay, but I feel like you need to have like a podcast or something, because you're just like, I don't know, the way you just like point things out, it's very succinct and very fact-based. I just feel like you should like break things apart like that. You know what I mean? You should do like a weekly podcast where you like break apart or something like that.
You should, as you're like traveling around.
Oh,
like,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if there's content to look at, I can do it, because I was looking at his tweets because it was sort of linguistically interesting. But of course, I sort of got rid of them because it's like he seems to be very sensitive about people looking at his stuff.
Voldemort sensitive.
And I'm like, I'm like, oh, bro, if you're this sensitive, I'm gonna give you some leeway here. I don't want to ruffle your, I don't know, back hair or whatever.
Ruffle your pubes.
Yeah, I
Well,
don't
he
want to.
does want to ruffle your pubes.
Pubes.
My pubes.
I don't.
It's like a combination of pubes and problems.
This is the part of the show where I need help, Chad. I'm in trouble now, Chad. Help.
Cat Lady Ballerina,
Send
thank you
help.
for the $2. I love a good spreadsheet. I call them grids.
That's right.
Julia says lots of snack chats tonight. I love it. Speaking of snacks, you look good tonight, Lauren. Thank you very much. On that note, I have to pee. So, Snitzel Ninja, I'm going to ask you to read some of this email while I run downstairs, and I will go as fast as I can.
Okay.
Give me 1 second. I know you hate that when I do this.
Ready.
Okay.
We have to share.
Can you see it now? Give
me zoom in a little bit.
Yeah. Well, okay. Let me see.
Get rid of all this gray space on the right. That would help. I don't know if you can.
I can try.
That's better. I mean, I can read that.
You sure?
Yes.
Okay. So I will be right back, guys, while they read this part of the email. Let me scroll down a little bit. So this was from David to Omar, and to my knowledge, this was like the first email because Laura sent him an email first.
Well, he says there's a yesterday email.
So I think that was Laura's email. Yes. Well,
oh, maybe he was
CC'd
on it or something.
Could be. We'll see. Yeah.
Let's see. The other one is October 7th. So this is as far as what we have.
We're just looking at the first ones. Yep. Okay, I'll be right back, guys.
Okay, so black is Voldemort, red is Omar answering, right? Or no, I guess red is Voldemort. It says DG response.
It says Laura is in purple. Red is his response. I think so. The black, once we start the numbers, is Omar.
Okay.
That's right.
Okay, cool. So following up on yesterday's email and your questions below, I am happy to answer these as best I can. Being in mind, I have only represented Laura for less than 2 months. I was retained on March 25th, 2024. So I was not involved in any part of her cases before that date, and my knowledge of the entire history is a lot less detailed than Laura's own recollection. So this is approximately what, 2.5 weeks before the June 10th trial.
Time to do some homework.
Having said that, I'll post your questions against below with my responses in red. Laura has also added some of her own responses in purple. So here are Omar's questions. 1, there are links out there floating around purporting to be timelines of events dating back to 2014. You've mentioned the Justice for Clay movement. How much of what is contained in the following links is bullshit? So they've got the Padlet link and the, I guess, subreddit Justice for Clayton.
This is a really hard question because even both of these links, like each one, is a lot of information. So, I mean, I don't know. It's hard to say, like, okay, I'm going to go through both of these links and look at all of it and try to figure out what I think is problematic or not or something. Like, that's an insurmountable amount of work you would have to put in to answer this question properly. I don't know.
And I mean, his response reflects that.
Yeah.
In some sense, I think. So it says, for example, I know that you disagree with their general narrative, but are there any text messages or court documents that they posted on these links that are fabricated, false, misleading, altered? And if Voldemort responded, I don't follow any of that crap on Reddit. I just don't have the time. If you... Which is like, I also believe he didn't read those 2,500 pages of text messages.
I mean, here's the thing. And what he's really asking for there at the end. So Omar gets specific. He says, look, if there's something specific that you think is false, let me know.
Yes.
Like, forget the rest. But if there's something you know has to be altered or fake, please tell me what it is.
Yep.
Specifically.
Yes, exactly.
And this is just like, I don't follow crap on Reddit.
If you want to ask me about something specific, I'm happy to ask Laura for her response. And he's like, he could have said to Laura, name 3 things, 3 of the main things that they have fabricated, have stated falsely in a
Mhm.
misleading way, or altered.
Mhm.
Like, he could definitely ask her that. He's dodging the
Mhm.
question, in my opinion.
Yeah, and it's interesting because generally the wiki page, which I don't think is linked here, but it could have been, and the Padlet are basically like links to court documents and
Mhm.
other screenshots of emails from Laura or Clayton.
Right.
So it's like it's not like a bunch of extraneous commentary. It's just
Mhm.
links.
Right. It's just evidence, like straight up evidence.
And yeah, so it's it's sort of like, well, people are
Mhm.
just linking the evidence that they have, and
Right.
if there's something good we can do to add to it to show maybe there's context, or maybe it's wrong, or maybe the timeline's wrong or something, that's
Mhm.
good because we can make it better. That's how
Mhm.
science works. You know, you don't say, well, I have a scientific hypothesis or theory, and then we learn something new, and the theory changes. It's
Changes,
not
exactly.
because the original theory was bad. It
Right.
worked for whatever it was doing. We can just make it better. We can refine it. It's like when you make the screen resolution of your video game better, you can just see the video game better. It's
Mhm.
not that a video game in 1984 was bad or
Right.
wrong. It's just we've made it better.
Right. Right. Improvements.
Yeah.
So number 2, Omar's question. You gave testimony on November 2nd, 2023. There's a link to a YouTube video at the minute mark 21:53 that you had taken a pregnancy test in front of Clayton. Please forgive my lack of knowledge, but is Clayton still contesting the validity of the pregnancy or denying that you took a pregnancy test in front of him that confirmed you were pregnant? Do you want to read his response?
Not really.
Okay.
I mean, the problem I have with this question is that a pregnancy test is not confirmation of pregnancy, it's an indicator of pregnancy.
Mhm. Mhm.
So, and that's really the problem I have with this question, I guess.
Yeah, it's a little non-specific in that
Mhm.
sense. Um, well, Voldemort responds, yes, Clayton is 100% contesting the validity of the pregnancy. That's true.
Mhm.
Despite Laura having taken more than half a dozen tests, all positive, including tests at an urgent care facility. Like, that makes a fucking difference. Tests that included a blood draw, nearly impossible to fake. How do you know that? Shows the fucking evidence.
Well,
And
I mean,
yeah.
the blood draw will give you the numeric blood HCG, whereas a urine test will just give you the lines, right? So
Mhm,
it's
mhm.
qualitative, it's not
Right,
quantitative. So he's
exactly.
basically saying, like, look, a blood HCG test is more quantitative than a qualitative test, which is true. The
Right,
problem is all of those things are still indicators only. They are not
exactly.
clinical proof.
The
That's the
only
fundamental problem here.
right, and these days, the clinical proof we have is a motherfucking ultrasound, right?
I mean,
Or the baby coming out of the woman.
for
Like,
general pregnancies, you would not just have one ultrasound, you would have lots of ultrasounds during your
I had an
pregnancy.
ultrasound at Planned Parenthood Los
Oh my
Angeles.
god. Chad, I like, oh,
I think I peed myself.
that was a jump scare there. I think I'm
Oh.
oh geez. That's
Oh
like
my.
the
I wish you could
scream.
see my smile.
Well, your little character there is smiling, I think.
It is. They are. Schnitzel Ninja is a they, them.
We're in
uh,
trouble now.
Oh my god.
I also
oh,
refer to my
no,
food
Omar
as
says, I
they.
didn't know that when I asked the question. I don't know what he's referring to, but
Oh, about
Oh,
the
probably
confirmation of
the
pregnancy.
difference between, like, ultrasounds and clinical pregnancy, versus,
Just
indicators,
exactly.
urine tests, this sort of thing. Because really that we didn't really get into that until June 10th, I think, for the
Well,
things that Omar would be watching.
when I got pregnant, I had an IUD
Yeah.
and I went to the emergency. I took a pregnancy test. I
Mhm.
really didn't think that's what was going on, but I took the test. It was positive. So I'm like,
Mhm.
"Oh shit, like I better go to the doctor." Right?
Mhm.
That's my
Mhm.
first thought. Like, I
Yeah.
need to go to a doctor.
What the heck's going on?
Yeah. And so it was early in the morning. I couldn't anyway, I went to the emergency room. I got I did a urine test there. I did a blood test, and
Mhm.
after those were confirmed, which
Mhm.
actually it took hours to confirm because I was 5.5 to 6 weeks pregnant when I got the test done. When
Okay.
I found out, it took 2 to 3 hours. I think it was 3 for the urine test to settle so that they could get an actual reading on it.
Mm.
And only after that, they said, okay, this is indicating that you're pregnant. We're going to go do an ultrasound. So then I went and I got a transvaginal ultrasound because the
Mhm.
fetus is so small. That's how they do it up to a certain point.
Dude, that
Right.
sounds like hell to me. Do not be sticking a wand at my hoo-ha. You know what I
I
mean?
mean, it's not to me. It's
You're a wizard, Harry.
pleasant, but it was the elder one.
Oh my god.
uh, so no, that's what got me pregnant.
Oh
No.
my.
Anyway, so then that was the whole process. And then I got pictures from that, like multiple angles of that. And then obviously, you go in once a week, or at least that's what I did from that point. They test with an ultrasound every time to confirm the validity of the pregnancy. I even thought, because I had my IUD removed. Sorry if
Mhm.
this is TMI or no one's interested in this, but I had my
Sorry.
IUD removed. And 50-50 if it was gonna the pregnancy was gonna keep or not. But I was told
Because of the removal?
yes, because it depends on where
Oh.
the egg implants in the
Hey, Omar.
uterus. Hey, Omar. Information.
Hey, everybody.
Oh, hey, you're here. Oh,
Yeah.
I can
We're
shut the fuck up.
We're
Okay.
tearing apart your old questions,
I'm
Omar.
stripping
Sorry.
for a second. I cannot wear this anymore.
Oh boy.
So the IUD removal, Amy Lynn asked, they just sorry, I'm so sorry. They just pulled it out. If you've ever had one removed before, they just removed it the same way that you would remove a regular IUD. I was told by the doctor I saw that it was recommended that I have it removed. Some people
Mhm.
keep
Mhm.
them,
Oh.
and like the baby's born like holding an IUD. Like that's happened before. But other times it can cause issues with the pregnancy. So
Yeah.
I did what they recommended,
Mhm.
and about a week and a half later, I had signs of a miscarriage, or what I had never had one before, but it was things coming out that you wouldn't expect to come out, like with when you're
Sure.
still pregnant. Without going into too much detail. So anyway, I was on a trip out of the country, came back like 10 days later, and put a little damper on the trip, and came back fully expecting that like I wasn't pregnant anymore. And I went to the doctor and they did an ultrasound, and he was like, well, you're still pregnant. And I was like, huh? I'm
Yeah.
still pregnant? So I guess my egg implanted like up higher above the IUD.
Yeah.
Now I have my son. So anyway,
Mhm.
like each time
Mhm.
I went in, there was
Mhm.
an ultrasound.
Right.
Sorry about that long story, but
Yeah, I mean,
You're good.
the whole point there is that when DG's response is Clayton dismisses all this evidence, I guess just because he thinks Laura faked everything. No, it's because there's insufficient evidence to prove clinical pregnancy and paternity. That's the crux of this whole case.
Mhm.
Redondo Beach, thank you for the 5. I freaked out when I got my first positive pregnancy test and thought I immediately needed a medical professional. That's how most people react. Yeah.
For sure.
Okay, so I think we lost Omar for a second. Now he's back.
What's
Unless
up,
you can't.
everybody?
Oh, there you are.
hey, you missed my
Okay.
great story, man.
No, I cut the whole thing.
Oh,
Very
lucky
good.
you.
Your husband got one past the goalie, man.
I
Oh,
guess, dude.
talk about a miracle, baby.
God, he
It
is.
happens.
Yeah, it happens.
Oh,
Okay.
I don't know. Okay, my question is, like, was his reaction like, "Oh my God, it's a miracle! I'm so happy," or was like, "Oh shit"?
No, well, we had only been dating for about 2 months when we found out.
Oh boy.
So then it was like that one, the latter.
Well, but we also knew each other in high school. So like we've known each other for years and had just started dating like 2 months prior.
Oh,
So it was like, "Oh, like should we go to the doctor? I guess we should go to the doctor." Okay.
Should consult your local miscarriage hotline via text.
Oh boy.
So it was more like, I guess we're doing this
Hmm.
kind of thing.
And you didn't write up any relationship contracts or anything.
I didn't. I forgot to do
Shocking.
that. But I am married now, so I guess I guess
Does
that's
the marriage license count as a relationship contract?
Oh my god.
it's just a legal
Loophole.
contract. I guess it's not a relationship contract.
I mean, I like to think it's both.
Loophole.
You have to stay married to me for 25 years.
Where were you guys in this email when I left and came back?
We were reading through the first red paragraph after question 2.
Yes.
Okay.
So we
Oh,
finished
just
that
a
kind of-
backdrop. So those questions that I asked him, I probably looked at the case for like an hour and a half, and just they're like, "Hey, so I don't know what pregnancy tests were or valid, the whole like everything we know now. I didn't know any of that back then. I'm just trying to get information. I was just trying to get, hey, so there's a lot of stuff out there. Is there anything that's bullshit?" And then it was whatever. And so
yeah, we like
just
it's okay.
the whole thing.
We're tearing apart your questions, but it's with love.
I felt like attacked by Bruce.
Well,
I
I'm
didn't. I'm
just I'm just glad you're still with us. I heard you
I'm
were
here to
dead,
follow
so-
the evidence wherever it goes.
Yes, sir. Oh, I know. I had to recover. That was me and Dominic will never do that again. Never, ever, ever.
What, the
Dude,
death
I couldn't
nuts?
even believe it. Like, I just had like the spicy pretzels, and I was like dead the next day. Like, I probably would have tapped out after level 1 on your challenge. Oh my
Didn't
god.
you like DoorDash milk or something to your house, or Nick did?
Yeah, Nick sent me Red Bulls and milk. I was
Well,
already
Dominic was
eating-
going to tap out. He was going to tap out when my brother did at level 3. So I was thinking, oh, I'm off the hook. And then he just wanted to keep going because I kept going.
Yeah.
And so then we had just had to follow through.
The
But
folly
he tells
of youth.
me he had a rough night. He had a rough night.
No.
Dude. I had some spicy almonds and spicy pretzels, and I was wrecked the next day.
Oh, I can't even taste spice anymore, man. I had some jalapenos this morning, and it was like they're just like pickles now, like bell peppers. It just I don't know, but I'll never ever do that again.
Yeah.
Guys in the chat, if you don't know what we're talking about, go to Omar's Christmas stream, and you'll see that at the end.
can see
I
my
fell asleep
antlers.
before it was over. So, okay.
Well,
let's
Lauren
see.
left because, like, I said that I was aroused, and she's like, "As your friend, I refuse."
Yeah, I was a little drunk. I don't remember that, but I remember going to bed.
I caught it when on the rewatch. It's like, why did I say that? And then Lauren freaked out about it. It's like, oh,
I wouldn't have remembered that. You didn't have to tell me that.
I think I was trying to like play mind games with the other participants that I'm not hurting. I'm aroused because my brother said something about pain kinks. And
I
so
thought it was
following
funny.
up. I don't know, man.
You got to me. I don't know
Oh,
about
boy.
the competition, but
That's fine with me. Just don't use the R word.
wait,
Exactly.
Erica says,
Oh, yeah.
Lauren, you also invited me to come to bed with you. What do you mean? When did
Schnitzel
that happen?
canceled me.
Hashtag
I don't remember a better
subscribed.
invitation.
I canceled you.
You totally canceled me because I used the R word. I was like, oh, I'm sorry.
I
Well,
remember
it sounds
that.
like you canceled yourself.
I
I
remember.
might
that.
have.
I don't know what is happening.
I'm helping you. Trust me.
I've been canceled for a long time now, so it's fine.
Well, you're also dead to David, so there's that.
Oh, that's cool. No, I manifested as the ghost of Christmas past
Yeah.
or future. All of those.
You're both simultaneously dead to him and on the naughty list. I don't know how
Dead
that
and on the
works,
laundry
but
list.
Oh, that's right. You
that
made
seems
the
like
list.
a contradiction to me, but what do I know?
Oh my god. Okay, so he was responding. Clayton's testing or contesting the validity of the
Mhm,
pregnancy, despite Laura having taken more than half a dozen tests. I guess because he thinks Laura faked everything. On that issue, attached are copies of an email from Clayton to Laura with subject line "something to consider." We've seen this email like 1,000 times now,
Yeah.
but basically he thinks that Clayton, who's being gaslit, and just
Yeah.
like incredulous because he only this lady only blew him a couple times, and she's like, I'm pregnant.
Mhm.
So of course he's confused and trying to understand any possibility or any reality in which this could happen. So like that email means nothing to me.
Exactly.
Yeah, and when you're in situations where you're trying to gather evidence and come to a reasonable conclusion, you will change your mind multiple times. I had a roommate in college that wouldn't pay their rent, and the what is it? The rental agency would talk shit about him. He would talk shit about them. So every time we talked to either one of them, the group of us that was trying to just get our rent paid was like, maybe they're bad, maybe he's bad. We just couldn't figure it out. And at the end of the day, we just had to say, you have to move out. We have to pay our rent. Like, we have to move on because we can't just figure this out because you're all just telling stories. And
Mhm.
that is the exact situation Clayton was in here.
Right. This was Omar's third question, right? In the
Mhm.
judge's recital of the facts, she had mentioned you feared Clayton would harass the employees at the facility where you obtained your ultrasound. What were you afraid of, or what were you afraid that he was going to do? Had
Yeah.
he harassed any of the medical facilities attending to you in the past?
Yeah.
David says this involves the order of protection stuff that happened before I was involved.
Of course.
I don't have any knowledge of this, so Laura will need to offer input. And LO response, Clayton had sent harassing text messages to me and had threatened to get into contact with Michael Marraccini, my abusive ex. See attached police report that I filed in July. Those police reports are not a flex. It's a waste of public resources. Like,
Well,
stop.
the obvious implication of that is that she didn't want him to find out. She didn't want Clayton to find out that she was bullshitting.
Yes.
So, like, what was her general reason for trying to sabotage the appointments or whatever she was doing? Like, I just want to know, what was the reason? What did
Yeah.
he do? Had he
To
done
me,
anything in the
this is a
past?
big non-answer because it doesn't say, why do I need to keep Clayton, the father of my twins, away from a doctor who can explain the medical situation with my twins while
Where
I'm
there would
doing a
be
court
all of the
case?
protections in the world. Yeah,
Yeah.
they would have security,
Yeah.
doctors, and professionals, and all of those things.
I'm in the middle of a court case. Why am I trying to keep doctors from talking to the father of these twins when there's a paternity case? And it's like,
Yeah.
well, he sent some rude text messages. Okay, so what? Oh, he's trying to talk to Mike Marraccini. That's an even bigger so the fuck what? Like,
Yep.
come on.
So I basically treated that question. I left it open ended. I said,
Yeah.
"Hey, so people are going to ask about that. Just so what was the reason? We're all friends. Tell me, what were you thinking?" I'm like, "What am I missing here?" And you saw his response. It was this non-response. By
Quick
the way,
pause, guys. I just need to say hello to Ken. Thank you for listening, Ken. Okay, go ahead.
oh, hello, Ken.
Sounds good.
I used to think when I first got these emails that it was Gingras posing as Laura, or Laura, him writing emails or crafting emails and having Laura send them on his behalf. But I confirmed later, after talking to both of them, that Laura she literally was the one that emailed me on her own.
Oh, yeah.
And then I had made statements that why did it sound like a cease and desist letter though? And then Gingras kind of said that, oh, well, ChatGPT. And, she kind
that's
of
how.
gets her stuff from a lot
Yeah.
of those things. And
Once
it
you
made
see
sense.
her other emails, you get that vibe. That's
Well, yeah. So I was thinking, did she have her attorney write this? Like, what
no.
is this, man? Like, why is she writing in
No.
this threatening way?
She's a lawfare enthusiast.
Yeah. And so, but anyway, that really was her. And then I guess she got him into it after the fact. I had always thought that they were coming at me at the same time, but no, this is just something that she did. She reached out to me, and then he got involved afterwards. And when I asked her those questions, he wanted to basically narrate the questions. So that's how this string of emails came about.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that. I was just answering my mom's text message. You can't just ignore your mom's text messages. Okay.
Oh, I do.
Well,
damn it, Omar. We have a lot of work to do.
Oh, wait, hold on. Grandkids Taxi. Is anyone else getting ads? I'm getting double ads. I can't skip. I'll check it in a second as soon as I get a quick break. Okay. Let's see. Mike, the restraining order against Marraccini was granted in 2018 by way of stipulation. I viewed the docket through Trellis. which is disconcerting as I would assume this would be confidential. I'm assuming this means that the allegations were not litigated originally. I know that the restraining order was renewed in 2020 for 5 years after a hearing. What did he do to warrant the renewal? Could you shed some light on what Marraccini did to warrant the renewal? I have to assume he severely violated the restraining order from 2018. David response, the complete Marraccini DV file is available here. I'm not going to click on that right now.
Spoiler, he didn't.
He didn't do shit. That's the
Right.
spoiler alert. He did nothing.
I don't
Right.
think.
And if there was even a marginal reason about why he could have possibly violated it, it would not have
So-
held up.
Pages 25 through 30 is what he
Whoops.
says is the explanation. So, Omar,
Yeah.
you say you read pages 25 through 30 and didn't see anything that you
Yeah,
thought
I think that was the one where like he may have visited a gym close to the vicinity where she lived somehow, but there's
And he had evidence to refute that. And
yeah,
they
but it
didn't
was
even, they
never
didn't even look at it.
right. It was a speculative maybe he may have circumstantially been in the same vicinity as her, but it was never a direct violation or something that would have warrant, for example, holding him in contempt,
my
forwarding it to the DA's office for violating an OOP, nothing like that. And so the only reason why they renewed the restraining order was simply because she said that she still feared that he would do something. That was it.
Mhm.
It wasn't based off of anything that he did.
Yep.
Based on the
Jeez.
court records
This
that
is
he
ridiculous.
references here.
This is such a waste of time. There are people who are literally being physically abused, having mental abuse with people they have to cohabitate with for financial reasons, and we're just wasting our time with this, with these useless OOPs.
It's crazy. It's
This
the
is an
reason
affront to people that really need these legal protections.
yeah.
Okay.
By the way, I'm up here in the mountains and I'm freezing my balls off. It's like 28 degrees.
You're in
Like
the
this kind of weather.
Dang.
Oh, I'm in the mountains with the family. We're up in Big Bear right now
You
That's
guys should visit
right.
Florida.
because it's warmer than 28 degrees.
Also, I'm here, so yeah.
Oh well, yeah. I offered to give Lauren a hug like last week, and she said,
Oh, my God.
"Dude, I'm all sweaty." It's like, all right, well, maybe a fist bump. She's like, "No, bullshit. You've committed to the hug." It's like, oh.
I was, in fact, very sweaty. I never lie about my sweat. All right. Okay. We'll just like skim through this. So
least
this
you don't
is
have
she's talking
jam
about
hands.
the request to permanently renew after hearing. Okay. Expires. Okay. And then this is just talking about how she accused Mike of being violent to her. Let's see. She's like talking about stuff in Iceland that probably never happened.
Absolutely never happened. And I will say
yeah.
that's not just my opinion.
Okay. You and I flip flop. When one of us gets a little flaky, we're just like, well, maybe I should just say probably, and then the other one's just like, no, it did not happen.
Well, I mean, I can imagine somebody giving her this napkin letter, but all this stuff about slapping and drowning and strangling.
No,
and
exactly.
Stuff, like,
And that-
it's
and-
just
and-
absurd.
That person could have heard shit
Yeah.
out of context.
Yeah. I mean, we've
Right?
been over this so many times.
Yeah, totally. Okay. So she's talking about the fake strangling and the fake him shoving the fingers down the throat. All the stuff we went over in text messages that was super gross, basically, that she just like fabricated for some reason. Okay, she's talking about him coming to her house unannounced and shit like that. Let's skip the rest of this because we know it's all bullshit. Incidents since 2018. That's what we're trying to get to. Okay. One of the restraining order terms was a standard 100-yard stay away order, like he would ever want to be within 100 yards of her. I understood that part of the reason he was willing to agree to this restraint was because he was moving to San Carlos. It gave me more peace of mind to know he would be living more than 25 miles away from me. You know exactly how many miles too, don't you?
Item 10 is not an incident. It's like a description of something.
It's her
That she
allegation.
claims
It's
that
an
she
allegation
claims-
of stuff.
Exactly.
No,
Exactly.
number 10 is like he moved.
No supporting evidence.
That's not an allegation of any wrongdoing. Moving is
Mm.
not an allegation of wrongdoing. It's
Right.
like it's a bunch of context. It's a
And
bunch
so
it's a bunch of unnecessary preamble.
Mike had a response to all of that, and he refuted a lot of that, and basically said that
Sure.
basically it was bullshit. But they granted it Like I
My
said, on the
point is
basis
very
that
narrow, that this is supposed to be a list of incidences, and number 10 is not an incidence.
no, you're right. There was no specific incidents, which is even more infuriating because in California, if you want to renew a restraining order, if you tell the judge that you're still afraid, they're just going to grant it,
Yeah.
maybe
Also,
permanently.
Yeah.
I want to say something because I don't want to name anybody, but I will say that there have been people who have come out from this time period
hmm
in the last year who have said, I had no idea all of this stuff was happening. I've seen Dave Neal's videos. I've seen all of this stuff. I've seen the Reddit. I've seen the wiki, all this
hmm
stuff.
hmm
And I now realize that it's all not true. And I'm sorry.
These
certain
things that are
people.
going into the these restraining orders.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
These stories. Okay.
All right. Let's see. Okay. 1 week after issuance, my parents told me they had seen Mr. Marraccini in my neighborhood. Through my lawyer, I communicated with his lawyer that Mike was violating our agreement and the order. The attorney said that Mike had been buying a bed nearby. So what? Like, her parents saw him in the area. That's not a violation.
And also, does
Right?
she have proof that she was there when it happened?
Well, obviously the parents saw, but she didn't. So no. Okay. On 3 different occasions, our mutual friend Joan told me that she saw Mr. Marraccini around my neighborhood. 2 of my friends from the Barry's boot camp gym who knew about Mike and knew I had a restraining order in place told me that on 2 separate occasions in late summer or early fall, Mr. Marraccini had come to Barry's boot camp gym. They expressed concern for me and surprise at having seen him there. But she wasn't there again, right?
Right.
What the fuck?
Also, where are the depositions for these 2 friends or whatever?
Right.
Like, how am I supposed to
Right.
believe this?
Yeah.
In any case, these sound like boogeyman things. Like, oh, Bigfoot's out in my backyard, guys.
Right.
Mhm.
Like,
See, what's frustrating about reading this whole thing, just as a lawyer, is that you read these allegations, and these were defensible at the time when she initially requested the OOP, but it was never litigated. He just agreed to it. He just agreed to it.
Yeah.
And then when she tried to renew it, it's like the easiest thing to renew an OOP in California. And so
already
these
have
issues,
foundation. Yeah.
yeah, these allegations. Now these are, she's talking about the renewal stuff, but the basis for why she wanted it in the first place, those things were never litigated. So she was lying back then, and he had an opportunity to disprove it back then. He never took that opportunity. Not to say that he would have won or lost, just it wasn't litigated. That he just agreed to it, and so now he's stuck with this. And she wanted it renewed, and she's probably going to renew or request to renew it again after the whatever
100%.
5 years are up. Maybe she won't, but I don't know. It just seems like she will. And
She has in writing written to a member of JSC that she is 100% planning to do it.
Well, there you go.
I'm not surprised.
And for what? It's just I don't know, man.
And for Mike, when you're young, and you're just trying to make problems go away when you're young. I mean,
And his counsel told him to sign it.
You might not have the best lawyer in LA named Omar, and you may have bad things happen to you, if you don't.
I'm just saying, look, if all of you prospectively, we're lawyers, let's just logically think this through. If you're a lawyer and you think that your client is going to lose on a domestic violence related issue, and there's no way of getting out of it, you think he's going to lose, you don't tell your client to just give it up, just agree to it, it'll be better, whatever, fine. You fight the effing thing, and you lose in court if that's how it's going to go down. But you don't just agree to lose on the restraining order just because of all the implications that it carries with it.
If you have ISO outcomes, you might as well fight, right? It's only when you're going to, like the Sarah Boone deal. If you get a great deal, take the deal. But if the outcomes are ISO, you might as well fight.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you have a lot to lose by not fighting.
Mm-hmm.
And he just lost voluntarily because he was convinced to do that by his attorney at the time, whom he paid a lot of money, which is infuriating.
Yeah. Okay, what do we got next? Let's see. She's still talking about Barry's boot camps. Same friends told me Mike had again come to the gym. They said he didn't work out, but just came and got a shake at the fuel bar.
And she says someone sent me a screenshot of Mr. Marraccini's Instagram post. Fucking bitch had an alt that was following him on Instagram.
Yeah, all
and
right.
she took this screenshot.
Oh, she sent herself the screenshot, probably.
I'm sure.
Exactly.
I mean, you know.
But guys, she threw the phone away, so it doesn't matter. Oh wait, she still has it.
Yeah, because that's what always infuriates me about this. Someone did this. Like, well, how do I validate that? How do I verify it?
My
my mind is
mom
always
sent
like,
me a
how do I verify a claim independently? If I
My
can't
dog.
do it, yeah. If I can't verify a claim independently, we're at an impasse.
Also, I want to remind everyone that Mike stated that she had multiple alt accounts on multiple social media platforms. So, are we surprised?
No.
Well, I don't think that there's anybody watching this stream that doesn't believe that.
I don't know. Laura's probably watching,
of
so
them,
let's say she does.
Lisa
Well,
Chen.
she doesn't have to believe it. She just knows, right?
Shout
I
out
don't
Lisa Chen.
And she's like, how do they know? We know.
No.
Guys, I adjusted the ad settings, so I
You have to
don't
watch
know-
3 in a row now?
I don't know. Like, it doesn't let you choose that. Like, I can't choose that. So like I fixed it. So like, let me know if it's still bad in like 10 minutes or something. But if it's better, that's good.
YouTube's trying to make its Q4 numbers off you, Lauren.
That's fucking bullshit. All right. Gym is approximately 300 yards from my home, so that's more than 100 yards, bitch. Well, I realize this is further than 100 yards. Congratulations. I can think of no reason for Mike to be at the particular gym around the corner from my house. You don't need to know. Even if he was there. which I don't think he was.
So I get fired up about Mike Marraccini, guys.
Here it is.
Probably you can tell. She invited him, if you look through those text messages, she invited him to become a member of that gym. She put him on her gym plan.
Mm-hmm.
So why the fuck would he go there? Well, maybe because you made him a fucking member.
Yeah.
Of
She
said
didn't revoke
Barry's
the
boot camp.
membership or whatever?
I mean, here's the thing. Like, if you're going for a year and you establish yourself at the gym that your ex happens to go to too, like, that's not, you know, I mean, like, that's not the only reason to quit going somewhere, right? If he's made friends there and he does classes there, then he's allowed to fucking go there. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because he's not trying to violate the order specifically. He has a reason to go there that's unrelated to this protective order.
Yeah, he's an established member at that
Doesn't
gym.
his sister live around there or something?
Whose sister?
Hit Mike's sister?
Yeah.
So
She did at the time.
if he was visiting his sister and he wanted to go get a shake at whatever, like, okay.
Right. And there are
It
some
makes
gyms
sense,
like that,
right?
like Equinox Gym. Like
Yeah.
they have and it depends on which location you go to. They have
Omar, you're here twice. I don't
Oh,
know which
boy.
one
Ooh.
is. Say something so I
Do
can.
we hear him twice?
I don't
Or
know.
not at all?
Oh my god, he's back. He's like had a third
He had
one
the
here.
twins. Oh my
Omar?
god. Somebody had the babies because we had
Omar?
twin Omars.
We have triplets.
Hey guys.
Who the fuck was that?
A Schnitzel ninja.
Oh. You bitch. Oh, wait, he's doing
Got
it
a
again.
voice board or something. Look at this.
Omar!
Now we got twins again.
What's
Anyway,
happening?
Some
I think
places have the shakes like in a
Yeah.
separate little like restaurant or whatever. I don't know what you call it, like a little, you know, eating area, a separate from the gym. And sometimes you do go in there and
Yeah.
just get something from there.
Like the
One is
Starbucks in
Omar,
a
one is
grocery
Omar.
store. Yeah.
Oh my god. Wait,
I don't
Omar,
know.
are you there?
Could you hear me?
Yeah, I
Now
can
we
now.
can.
Oh, I kept on kicking myself out. I apologize.
I mean, there was like 4 of you in here, and I was like, which one is the real one?
I don't know what I did.
Sorry, I just saw the private chat. But you're good now. So.
Good lord. Is there anything he actually did as a
appear
conscious
that way.
action in this litany of maybe someone saw him somewhere?
For the renewal, no.
No.
Well,
For the renewal,
It's a bit of
I'll
a
just say
rhetorical
this.
question, Omar.
if the renewal was based on any action that Marraccini did, and that was the only thing that the judge had to decide on.
Oh, is
It
this
would
the
not have
last
been
one?
renewed.
18? Yeah. So the only action he took, he didn't take a conscious action in any of these 18 items other than existing in space. Like, I don't know, guys. I don't know. It's not good enough for me.
But you have to know that the renewal was based on Laura's subjective belief of whether or not he was still a threat to her, and that's the only reason the renewal was granted.
Oh, yeah. You know, she's thinking about seeing him, or maybe she sees him off in the distance and she has a panic attack. Sure. Okay.
And
Also,
Omar-
somebody, yeah, go ahead.
Oh,
You know.
weren't you saying in a conversation we had before that that people don't typically go for the 5-year renewal, right? Isn't that
Yeah.
something right?
Well, I mean, she wanted like a permanent renewal or a 5-year renewal or something like that. If you're trying to get
she wanted lifetime renewal.
Yeah, but that takes an extraordinary set of circumstances for a judge to grant it on a permanent base, like a literal permanent basis, like for life. And so it was granted for 5 years. So in other words, the judge was not impressed with everything that she said, but look, you're still afraid of the guy, then fine. Here's another 5 years. And I guess we'll see you in 2025.
Coming up.
But somebody else had asked in the chat if Mike could sue for ineffective assistance of counsel or appeal on those grounds. The answer is no. Because when you agree to a restraining order in California, it's almost like a criminal case where there is a series of admonitions. Do you understand that if you agree to this, then you're agreeing to all these other bad things, and that all these other bad things are going to happen to you and attach, and you're not going to be able to just get or hand wave it away in the future. And you have to say yes, or they won't let you enter into the agreement. And did you do this uncoerced, freely, and voluntarily? You understand and know your rights. You understand the consequences, and blah, blah, blah. And he said yes to all of those things. And so, no, he can't sue for ineffective assistance of counsel.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like his lawyer was unconscious or falling asleep in court or anything. I mean, you know.
Not like Omar would.
Wow.
I haven't done that one yet.
Sherry Craft, I'm an ultrasound tech. I would love to answer any pregnancy questions. I just have one question. Have you ever done an ultrasound on a patient who was anonymous or unidentified?
That's a great question.
Thank you.
If you have, what were the circumstances? Are you in an ER where like they show up like they don't know who they are, or what
are you at a Planned Parenthood in Mission Viejo or Los Angeles?
Right.
Hey, Lauren, I got to get going, man. I got to spend some time with the family over here in Big Bear.
No.
Have fun.
I was gonna say tell your dad I said hi, but I don't think he's with you.
Oh, I was going to say tell your dad I said hi. Not really.
Dick.
That's what his dad said.
Oh, no.
I mean, your dad?
Good Lord.
Somebody's dad.
Lauren's dad is a gem who has stood up to helicopter penises and guys going crazy.
Hey, the helicopter penis was at me.
Well, I mean, he was there too. I mean, I don't know. Are you sure? Was it you, Lauren? I'll explain it later, Omar.
Wait, Omar, make sure you check the private chat before you go.
During our private
check my what?
Your private chat. Before
all right.
Oh my.
Let me how do I even do that?
Click the words private chat.
Oh.
The thing you typed in when you said let me back in.
Oh, yes, that is what he said.
Thank you.
All right, folks.
A lot of work.
Bye.
You guys have a good night.
Yeah, you too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. So, guys, the rest of this is pretty much just her playing woe is me. I sleep on my couch to avoid being in my bed where he hurt me. Didn't she move?
Yeah, this is where she's saying that she's still afraid. The declaration for the renewal, where she's. Yeah.
I carry pepper spray. I really never want to have to use it. I'm okay. I have a psychiatric service dog, and I live in fear each and every day. Lots of people get emotional support animals. It's really fucking easy. I'm gonna tell you. You can just walk into somewhere and or talk to somebody online and be like, I have anxiety. You go have an appointment. There you go. They do the evaluation. They write up a thing.
I can't even imagine what Mr. Marraccini would do to me if he caught me alone. He'd fucking leave. He would run in the opposite fucking direction.
Yeah. I just can't believe. Like, I don't know. These claims are so extreme that it's like it's all speculative, right? Like, if X, then Y. And it's like, well, no, you haven't explained anything that has happened here.
And she's also just, it's like with everything, in my opinion, it's like with everything she claims, she writes like if you did the AI, if you Googled, like, tell me about like autism, tell me about like
Mhm.
domestic violence, like
Yeah.
she writes all of that stuff that they would like the summary shit, right? She's like, oh,
Yeah.
this is what I'm supposed to say to appear as though I'm a victim of domestic violence.
Mhm.
And it strikes me the same way here. Like, I have frequent flashbacks of his hands around my neck, not being able to
God.
breathe or scream, and him violently, graping me.
It's like a monologue, yeah.
Of course, yeah, exactly. It's like a like a
kind of
play. It's like a
generic.
movie
One lady
script.
show.
It's kind of generic. And when it gets specific, it's in these weird things that don't matter. Like, I've spent
Yes.
$75,000. Like, it's supposed to make you more convinced because it's a
It's
very
almost like
specific
those are the
detail.
facts.
But
Like,
Guys,
it's
real
that's a
quick, one
fact.
second, one second.
irrelevant.
One
It's like
second. Shizzy Wiznut, thank you for the raid.
Oh, yeah.
Shizzy Wiznut, Shizzy Wiznut is supposed to be like near me, I think, over Christmas. So if he wants to meet
Oh,
up, we will.
cool.
But like, if you just came from Shizzy's stream and you've been following the What the Hales case, the court actually approved my request yesterday to stream the case. So I'll be over there at the February 5th hearing with a camera. Hopefully we'll be live streaming, but at the very least we'll have a recording of it. So thanks everyone
Amazing.
for being here, and thank you, Shizzy.
Hey,
That'll be
Shizzy, I don't
interesting.
know you, but thank
He's
you
cool dude. Cool
on
dude.
behalf of Lauren.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go back to we'll go back to reading the email recap, or not the email recap, but the video recap, and then we'll go to bed after that because
Yeah.
I'm so tired.
Did we get through Omar's emails, or as much as you wanted to? I
We
guess?
got through like as much as I feel like we needed, because the rest of it was just like I don't know. I feel like there was not a whole lot that he had to say here that was like very productive. So he's saying, actually, you know what? Let me share this part since we didn't see this part really quick. Emails. Okay, so this part here where he's saying something fake that a third party created when he's talking about the Fiverr ultrasound. Like, I would consider that unprofessional, honestly, because like there's no evidence to support that.
You know what there is
whatsoever.
evidence of her sending it to Fiverr and not fucking paying the person who edited it for her.
Yeah,
Otherwise, there wouldn't be a Fiverr logo on it.
Right? So crazy, dude.
Yeah, I don't know how they explain those phone calls that were recorded, because there's nothing in here that talks about that. They're just saying
between
like,
her and Gillespie, or what?
yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Because to me, even if you're saying like, oh, well, somebody faked some text messages, which I mean, how do you prove that? You have to prove that if you want to claim somebody faked them.
Also, it's not like with Mike, for example. It's not just the documents, like the attachments, right? Like the ping files. It's also all of the text messages preceding that and coming after that. Like, did he also edit those? And that's the exact reason she didn't want to take the laptop and get it analyzed, because she knows it's all fucking true. And I'll tell you what, there are no naked pictures in there.
Right.
I mean,
there are no
you can always
naked
redact.
pictures in there.
I mean, you can always fuzz those out or whatever if you have to. But
well, no.
To me, the phone call conversation, like, you don't even need to go to the text messages because you have that phone call.
Exactly. Where she's saying like, I'm sending it to you right now. Did you get it?
Yeah.
So hang on. Let's see. So we saw that, and then he's admitting there that she did this, faked the HCG test after her identity was leaked to the media. Identity was leaked to the media is stretching it. It's a public court document, and she picked a celebrity to scam. So she chose Clayton Echard, the lead of The Bachelor, to scam and pretend that she was pregnant with his fake twins. Like, that is ridiculous. So then she's like, I can't believe this backfired.
This is weird. This is a claim. This is another claim with no evidence. Nobody leaked her identity to the media. There were court filings with her identity, and also his own sort of pre-filing filings that he would put on Twitter had plenty of people's information and names.
And she put enough in that Reddit post, or the Sun article, for example, which she told them exactly what they could and couldn't say, right? She put enough. I when I saw that,
Mhm.
I Googled what she put in there and I
Mhm,
found
mhm.
her.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Like, she did it to herself. Again, like,
Oh,
she does this
all those
over and
people
over
on
and over
Reddit.
again.
Yeah, all the people on Reddit figured it out. Figured out who she was.
Exactly.
I mean,
She didn't make it that
yeah,
hard.
you
Mhm.
can't. How are
I
you
almost
gonna?
feel like she wanted people to know.
Redondo Beach, thank
I
you for
don't
the
know.
$5. The strangling really pisses me off. So I think she's referring to the Mike thing, the accusations against Mike, which
Correct.
I think we can all agree we don't think that happened. We don't think that happened.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it didn't happen. I'm like 100% sure it didn't happen. But okay, thank you, Redondo Beach, for the 5. I'm very sorry that that actually happened to you, and I'm sorry that this person's exploiting your experience to try to trap men into dating her. I
Yes.
don't know if you're here from Shizzy's stream and you've never heard of this case before. A lady's been concocting a fake pregnancy con for years, targeting different men who didn't want to date her. She then targeted The Bachelor, the lead of The Bachelor, tried to get him to sign a dating contract in exchange for getting an abortion of the baby she was pretending to have. And then he, didn't go for it. So she decided to sue for paternity over the fake babies. It's been nutty. All right. Let's see. So I feel like that's enough. I've seen enough of this at this point. And then Omar's he's like citing his sources and everything. Like, here's where I saw this. Here's where I saw this.
Evidence?
So,
What?
yeah, yeah, right. Crazy. Okay. Let me.
And then the other one is not. I don't think there's anything.
More
No,
recent.
I'm not going to read the other one because it's like it's not really relevant to what we're talking about now.
Yeah.
But
Exactly.
yeah, I did see it.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. Stop screen. Okay, so we're gonna go back to talking about the videos. We're talking about the video where he's burning all the YouTubers to the ground. He said Omar's dead to him. Now he says Megan Fox is like nails on a chalkboard. He's not sure why, she's irritating to him, but she just is, I guess. And
Because
I
it's
think
a woman. I'll tell you exactly why.
yeah.
Well, I mean, we all know, right? It's a woman who's calling him out on his shit.
Yeah,
That's
definitely.
why he doesn't like her.
Yeah. Well, I feel like, well, he threatened Dave. I was gonna say, other than that, like he's like bagged on Megan. He's threatened me with a lawsuit. He's I don't know. I'm just like, I guess he's like equally rude to men and women sometimes, but like the
I
way
think
he
there's.
talks about the women is like very
I
misogynistic.
Yes,
think
I
there's.
think-
Yeah, there's specific words, right?
Yes.
So, like
yeah.
with Megan, it's about her voice.
Good luck
Or
with that,
Or-
honey.
Or you about your way about Megan about her appearance, right?
Right.
Yeah, and
No one says that Dave is one of those hot rodent guys that like they said is in season this year.
what?
Do you remember that article? It was like it called okay.
I'm frightened.
No, it said that it says that there are guys, I need to find the article, that look like this sounds really bad out of context, guys. Should I stop? Should I
Maybe.
stop?
Maybe.
I don't know what.
No, who's the lead of the bear, the TV show The Bear?
I don't
Jeremy
know.
something. Anyway, they said that he's like, they called him like a rodent guy, all right? But they said that they're hot. And to me, that is Dave Neal. He's got
What?
the similar look, but he is hot. All
Is there-
right?
what does it
I
mean?
said it.
Is this like one of these Gen Alpha things, like skibbity or whatever? Like rodent means skibbity or base or
feel like I
whatever.
really
Like,
need
is this
to
a thing
Google
I
it
don't
right now.
understand? I'm confused.
Teresa Monson, are they still taking you to court? So he said that he wasn't able to do it within the 10 days for YouTube. So my video got put back up, but I actually took it down anyways. But he says he has 3 years to sue me over this copyright, over his a video which he admitted was not valuable. And he says that he doesn't have the certificate for his copyright registration yet. And so he's not going to do that. But he technically could, not technically, he could. And he just wants to make sure he's dangling that little hook for me for the next 3 years. So he's, not currently suing me, but I have talked to a copyright lawyer and I am prepared to defend myself if they do take me to court. I hope it doesn't happen because I don't have any fucking money, but we'll take it one day at a time and see what happens.
You have support.
Yeah, thank you. I firmly believe that I have a strong case if this goes to court. So we'll see what happens. But yeah.
I just want to call out. I posted 2 links, one from Elle, one from CNN. Hot rodent men celebrities.
Oh my God.
Hot rodent boyfriends. It is not my term. It's what the media is calling these men.
Sure.
Okay. Timothy Chalamet, hot rodent guy. Jeremy
Timothy
whatever.
Chalamet, I can see that. Yeah.
I'm gonna go hide in my bedroom now.
But just look at
And are you gonna go hide in your bedroom and think about Timothy Chalamet as a rodent?
Maybe.
Oh my god.
It's like a whole new furry subgenre.
So, see, I wish I had not missed out on that
Yeah.
stream. We should do
Schnitzel
another.
Ninja, if you were a furry, what furry would you be?
I don't even know. I have a friend who is a furry, and I can't even remember. Right? It's some kind Jiru. He's a Jiru. That's
I
the
don't know.
only type
What
of
is a
that
furry.
means.
Jiru?
It's like a
I
dog.
think you told me this already.
kangaroo- A dog kangaroo, maybe. I don't know. That's the only type of
Okay,
like.
Schnitzel, your homework for next time is to figure out what kind of furry you would be.
I don't know. Do I? I don't even know if. I'm
Well,
gonna
that's why
think
it's your
about that.
homework. You got to go think about it.
For those
Go
of
do
you
some-
who are new
go
here,
meditate. Go eat some hot nuts and meditate. And while the spice is like ruining your life, it will come to you.
The spice. Wait, the spice from Dune with Timothy Chalamet.
Alright.
Rodent guy.
If you guys
Oh.
are new here,
Welcome full
Bruce asked me
circle.
that question a while back, and here's what happened. This was my answer. I won't play the whole video, obviously, but
Oh, this is a classic.
Is this
it's
a
called
furry?
a Wubluv, and it was a creepy ass toy that was cool back in the 90s and maybe early 2000s, but now it's scary as fuck as an adult. So, like I said, I'm not gonna play the whole thing, but here's some of it.
Muh. Muh.
Sequences.
What the hell did I just walk in on?
Bruce asked me what I would be if I had to be a furry, and this is what I would be.
This is the way you would dress up. Oh, who said it?
Let's see. Let's
I
get that
have
egg
one.
muffin. There you go. Touch her sensor.
Tony
Come on,
Robbins and
tell me
Wublo.
the other furries at the party wouldn't love this shit.
Look at this close up. Look at the little hearts in the eyeballs. Oh,
So
oh my
cute.
God.
Hi.
This is sexy as hell.
Brian, thank you for fun. Thanks for the nightmare.
Turn it off. Turn it off.
Tell the truth, buddy. After seeing this and after hearing that this is my furry, that is not the reason you're going to be up late at night thinking. We
It's
all know
true.
what you're getting at.
I mean,
All
yeah.
right.
Yeah. I'm going to be Tony Robbinsing all night.
I mean,
Oh, I was real spicy back then. Wait, what does it say? She can be fed by pressing on her tongue?
you stuck your
Yeah.
finger have those other
Yeah.
num-nums they came with.
Wait, the plastic flower num-nums? What the fuck is that?
It's a thing that came with the toy. You're supposed to feed it the num-nums. And so I guess instead of that, he's feeding it his finger. And Jim
Is
says,
there a hole?
Are you
using the fingers just to make this advertisement for YouTube. That never gets old.
Does it vibrate? Is it like Lauren's desk?
It walks back and forth.
Wait.
But,
Oh, that's a little.
this is my life as a furry.
I see a
This is
Wublo.
S
The first
tier.
thing I ask, does it
I think you mean
vibrate?
S tier. S tier is what we call it.
Oh.
He's sucking on it.
It doesn't poop,
Dude,
but it
how
makes
big is that
babies.
mouth?
I'm just
you mind.
I'm just asking for science. Might do for science.
Pregnant mother Wubluv only rocks her body from side to side.
That's how you know it's pregnant.
Oh.
Oh,
Hey guys, if you want to see the Wubluv give birth, watch the video I'm gonna put in the description right now.
we have like better proof
Wait.
of Wublo pregnancy than we do of.
It
Clayton's
gives
twins.
birth?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it has. It makes eggs, and then the inside the egg is a Wublo baby.
Wait.
Yeah.
It makes
make
eggs or you
babies.
put eggs in there for it to quote unquote make?
Well, these are
It pops a
semantics.
baby out. It pops a little egg
From
baby
the
out.
bottom of it or where?
And then from its pouch.
You
and
kind of
then-
do a C-section.
Oh, like a kangaroo.
Yeah, you put the finger in the mouth, and
I
then
mean, I know that's
the
not how a
baby
kangaroo
pops
gives
out.
birth.
What?
Yeah, so the baby pops out, and then they like talk to each other for a while, and then you put the
Yeah.
baby back in so it can give birth again.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, all right. Anyways, back to what we were talking about,
Wait,
guys.
but is that
No more questions.
The Wublup babies are ongoing.
I
No more
missed
questions about the Wublup.
Erica. I don't know. She said, "How is this the first time Schnitzel is hearing this?" I was like absent from that stream. I don't know.
You were. It was just me and Bruce doing a
I
bad
might have
You
advice
been-
didn't do your
Well,
homework.
No, I might have been. I don't know
Oh.
what I was doing that night, but I never was
Uh-huh.
able to go back.
I'll
and
send
watch
you
the
the link
stream.
afterwards. It's
Yeah,
bad.
I think
Oh, I
I
was
need to catch
so
up.
busy. I couldn't rewatch the Wublup video.
Dude,
Oh,
like
no.
having a friend who who goes out in public often as a furry, I definitely would have watched that stream, and
Mhm.
something happened and I just
We
didn't
didn't mean to talk about that. It just happened.
I'm pretty sure I did, but
Well, you probably did, yeah. All right. Voldemort briefly discusses Megan Fox and legal vices.
Wait, I feel like can we take a 5-second
No.
pause for my brain to recover?
You may not. I'm tired. All right. David Voldemort, briefly discusses Megan Fox and legal vices, reading over his appellate brief, and says that Megan Fox cackled and proceeds to imitate her, and we all saw that. So like, it was bizarre. It was on JFC Instagram or something, right? Did they post that?
yeah.
What was on there?
The where he's mocking Megan Fox's laugh and stuff, where he's like saying like
I don't know.
it is disputed or whatever, like. But okay, so he says that it's his best impersonation of a witch, which is what he like thinks she is. Again, guys, these are not his exact words at all. These are my notes. So
Spells.
he says that oh my god, a mosquito's on my screen. I got it. Okay. So he, is basically saying everyone's dumb. They don't understand when they're reading the appellate brief and stuff like that. And I don't like the way he talked about Megan here at all whatsoever. But like, if he had said something bad about Jeff and then, everything that just happened, I would be so angry. Like I would have been angry anyways, but you know what I mean. Okay, so he's talking about the anonymous lawyer that Dave got a letter from, and he says he alludes to thinking it's Judge Mata's father.
Right.
I see no evidence of that. I don't know anything about the guy except for his name now because of David and Laura.
Also,
Voldemort and Laura?
Why would he, who apparently was in chambers given special secret information that he wasn't supposed to get, why would he just now or a couple weeks ago reach out? Why wouldn't he have reached out before that?
Yeah, I don't know, man.
That's so dumb.
It's pretty crazy.
I don't know. It's just speculation. It doesn't make any
It's just
sense.
dumb. It's just dumb, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. Hang on. Sorry, I'm trying to update the ad situation here again, guys, because I know it's still tricky. Sometimes YouTube is like really bad about that, and I have no control over like how many ads happen. And like I can click conservative, I can click medium, I never click the high one, but so hopefully this will work. We'll see. Teresa, 310 likes on what? Tap that like button, please, and thank you. Yes, please, if you're here, please hit the like button for me. I would really appreciate it. Like and subscribe if you can. Let's keep going with this. He says when people flip through the pages, they just see words, and it means nothing to them because they don't have the knowledge that he has, is what he's saying, which is like true to some extent because he's a lawyer, but at the same time, like I really question a lot of his kind of viewpoints because of the way he approached the trial and like how none of that went his way. And so I'm just kind of like, and like as not a lawyer, I'll admit I'm not a lawyer. He totally knows more about the law than me, but like I just kind of question it. I'm just kind of like, okay, if this person's so confident when they're wrong, how can I believe what they're saying here?
It's like Laura, right? I
Right,
mean, exactly.
It's hard to have, trust in what someone's saying once they've burned a bridge or two, right?
Mhm.
And so if they don't establish a track record with you directly, you're not going to have trust in that person. And, it's an appeal to authority fallacy. Like, oh, you have to be licensed in Arizona to have any commentary I'll pay attention to on this appeal. If
So
he presents a false dichotomy, anybody can point out a false dichotomy. You don't have to be licensed attorney in Arizona to do that.
right. Or if you like if you watch American Idol, right? Like
Yeah.
if you're not a trained like musician,
Yeah.
right? Or singer, then you can tell if you like someone's sound or not. You can tell if you think they're good or not. Like that
Yeah.
doesn't mean you have to know like all the technicalities about what they're doing, right? Or like Dancing with the Stars. Like you don't have to know like all the
Yeah.
technicalities of a cha-cha or a tango.
Mhm.
Or like what is it, Argentinian tango versus like there's some motherfucking tango. I don't know.
Yeah, you
But
don't have to be an expert to appreciate good music or
and
identify bad music or
right, and
dancing or whatever it is.
to identify if it's good or bad.
Yeah.
Or like it's the same thing with the law. I'm sure there are certain things that
Well,
like
and this gets back to, on one hand, we have the law work that he has to do and that the respondents counsel will have to do. And that is within the law domain. And then there is the other domain, which is the PR domain or the court of public opinion domain. And, the sense I get from him is he's constantly putting these two together and not clearly separating them very methodically. And this is why I think he shouldn't be doing PR at the same time that he's doing lawyer work.
he's shit at PR. Like he
Well,
is. He's
whether
obviously, and I
yeah.
think he knows it. I think he's admitted it to people behind the scenes.
Well, regardless of whether he's good or not, it's like just do the lawyering, and if you want PR, go hire some PR people. There's only like nobody. There's like the one lady attorney in some of the old high-profile cases from the 80s and 90s who I think was good at PR and lawyering. Besides that, I don't know of any.
Gloria Allred, right? Different.
Yeah, I mean, besides that, I'm not sure there's very many that can do it. So don't do it. You don't have to.
Right. Not a prerequisite.
Yeah.
All right. Let's keep moving since it's already
Lawrence like
midnight. It is
Just
midnight,
passing
guys.
out.
guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
I see every time we go off on a tangent, I see your face. You're like,
No, I'm just reading the
in your
comments.
face.
I was trying to fix the ad thing, but apparently it's a YouTube problem because some people had no ads and some people had a lot. So
you got their ads.
it's definitely
got
a
my
weird-
ads.
Yeah, okay. Anyways, David claims people are making like YouTube videos discussing topics they don't understand to make money or whatever. And like the thing is, like people can, talk about whatever they want as long as they're not, defaming someone or causing harm or anything like that.
Yeah.
And he's also assuming that no one here like actually cares about what we're talking about.
Yeah, and also it's like sometimes people just want to watch someone they can relate to, that they like talking to, that they like listening to, or like they want to be in a stream where they have a community that they like interacting with, and it has nothing to do with that person who's streaming being an expert. It really doesn't.
And you had an audience, Lauren, before you started covering this case.
Honestly, an audience of like 3, but,
but I mean, you had been doing some videos before this, and I don't think all of your followers are from JFC.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we spent a lot of time ramping up and learning about the Sarah Boone case, and even the chat was telling us a lot of information that we didn't know off the top of our heads. We can all learn together, and we can have a discussion, and that's illustrative for more than just, let's say, it's just me and Lauren arguing it or debating something. The debate really is
the gestation period of love.
The actual YouTube benefit of that kind of debate isn't for me or Lauren to convince each other of something. It's for us to have a discussion that the audience can internalize, relate to, and ponder for themselves. And then, as we go and make more videos, maybe we can learn more and advance our knowledge. Nobody has to be at 100% before you make a video. I mean, it's nice, but you can't expect that. That's unrealistic.
Also, I have a question.
What is it?
Will you please answer it?
Why are you talking like that?
Because it's a non sequitur to what you're talking about right now, but it relates.
Go ahead.
So,
Please stop talking like that. Okay.
Okay. How does a Wovlove give birth in its pouch and it is an egg? That's my question.
I'm going to show you the whole fucking thing after this.
But does it make sense?
It doesn't
What?
have to make sense. It is what it is.
I'm trying to make it make sense. Kind of like Laura's pregnancies. But
So
maybe
it's
I'll never
not
get
going
the
to.
answer.
You know,
There's
there's like there's a flap and the egg pops out of the cloaqua or whatever, and then the egg breaks
I remember
apart.
that. You said cloaqua, and I was like, what's a
Oh, a
cloaqua?
cloaqua.
Erica did it. It's her fault.
A cloaqua.
Yeah, like a chicken. Like that's how eggs come out
A
of
chicken
chickens.
has a cloaqua?
It sure
Yeah.
does. I didn't know.
I'm
either.
not pronouncing it right, but it's a thing.
How do you spell it?
Okay, we have to move on from the
Okay,
Wovloves so I can go to bed soon.
Sorry.
All right. No, it's fine. I really want to talk about the Wovloves, but I can't. Okay. He says he feels like he's putting out videos and that's like fueling the fire with JFC or YouTubers or whatever. So he's,
Does he
not
have
going to
crabs?
do. Huh?
Fueling the fire.
Does he have what?
Crabs?
Crabs?
Herpes?
I don't understand.
If he has a fiery
Chicken.
sensation in his crotch, then
Yeah, but
it's
how
an
did you get
injury.
fueling the fire to mean crotch-like? Okay, anyways.
Look,
It's
it's
Shut up!
It's a
Shut
non
up!
sequitur.
Shut up! Okay. Anyways. I'm literally so tired.
sorry. I'm gonna mute myself.
No, I love you. Please don't. Okay. He says that JFC doesn't care about. Sorry, JFC doesn't care about the truth. He says that he's reached out to every YouTuber and offered to talk to them.
Also, wait, can I say one thing? It's related, I promise.
If it's about Wovlove, I'm gonna kill you.
No, it's not. It's not. It's about what you just said.
Premeditated. Everyone heard it here. Anyway, go ahead.
Where he said that JFCers don't care about the truth. I've said this before. I'll say it again, just speaking for myself. When I read her original Reddit post and I read the Sun article, I believed her because I didn't have a reason not to. I didn't think, wow, maybe someone is slandering him. And that I probably should have. I probably should have sat there and thought like, this is interesting. I wonder if this is true. But like, no, but also like people should be believed when they come out and say stuff like this, right? Like we want to support victims for speaking out.
Yeah.
And once Dave, we all know, I mean, and I've said it before too, Dave was such a huge, I don't even know the right word right now, but I mean, he covered everything solo for so long and he uncovered it with the help of other people, right? Like getting information and stuff. But when everything came to light, or at least the stuff in the beginning, and you think, wow, okay, maybe this isn't true. Maybe that didn't happen. Wow, look at this evidence. And my mind was changed because of the evidence. I didn't just initially not believe her. I did believe her. I did.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's fucking shit. Like Clayton, right? Like like what I have learned about his season and like the final people he had on there.
You still haven't watched it?
I have seen, I'm going to pull a Laura and say I've seen clips. I have not seen the entire season of his season.
His was the last full Bachelor season that I watched.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
So, but anyway, like, I guess my main point is to say, like, I didn't even question her at the beginning. Like when I read her stuff and it all came out and she's the one who brought this to everyone's attention, to the public's attention, I believed her. And then once the evidence came out and I think I'm pretty level-headed. I think I can look at evidence and like decide what I think is true and what's not. I decided that I thought she was not telling the truth and that Clayton was telling the truth. So just to refute his statement there, like I'm involved. I requested court videos, right? Like I've posted them to my channel. Like I'm maybe more involved than some other people in that, not you guys, but like, I mean, just in general of the whole community. I'm someone who did believe her. Evidence came out. I changed my mind.
I did not believe her. I just thought, even if she's telling the truth, she's a nutbag. I don't know. Something about the way she wrote her story, I was just like, this person has problems. Like, something's going on there.
She had me convinced. I was like, damn, this sucks. Like, that's terrible. And when she even put in one of her original things, which, yeah, obviously she did link the Dropbox, and she tried to tell Judge Judy she didn't, right?
Judge Judy. I'll never get over that. Judge Judy.
Where the email to his parents, and she says, like, I emailed his, and I was like, man, like, that's so nice that she invited his parents. I remember having that thought. I did.
Such harassment. Such terrible harassment.
Yeah.
Obviously, like, in hindsight, right? I mean, for me, in hindsight, right? But at the time, like, I was just, I ate her shit up. I was like, I believe her.
Yeah.
You're probably into that though, right?
The clipped text messages. She took these text messages out of context from Clayton or whatever, and said, "Look, Clayton's being a jerk."
Yes.
Like, the Bachelor Nation audience is ready for these contestants to be jerks, because a lot of them are young. They're on a TV show. It's stressful. They're going for fame. They're doing whatever.
And then you get, like, a lot of attention probably, like, right after the show.
You're like, oh yeah, maybe Clayton is really a big jerk. Like, it's not unreasonable. And, the problem is, once you start making consequences for these things, like, oh, there's a court case and Clayton has to go to court. He might have to pay child support or take a paternity test. Suddenly there are consequences to the story. And that's when we need the evidence to figure out what's really going on. Because if somebody just makes a claim to me in isolation and it has nothing to do with anybody else, I'm happy to just take them at their word in general, right? But as soon as you say, hey, something happened to me, let's go gang up on this guy, then I'm like, wait a minute, I need to see it. There's a higher bar. So she raised the bar too high.
Yes, and like Dave likes to say, like, I'm not necessarily related directly to what you're saying, but Dave said she flew too close to the sun.
Yeah, which is an amazing pun, given that the first story was in the sun.
The sun, exactly.
Oh my god,
it's just a genius pun. But anyway, yeah,
I forgot about that. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, let me see. Let's see. He compares JFC to flat earthers, which we're all used to. Says if he could go back in time and redo the sonogram, get a doctor to verify the pregnancy, maybe people's tone or their responses would change. But he thinks that even if that happened, that JFC would refute that because they're as adamant as flat earthers, which is not true.
No, he's doing speculation here, and this is in general what he does a lot. And this is one example, but in the newer videos, the Santa video, there's other examples. So your homework is to go find the other examples in the Santa video. But like, he will speculate. And the more specific version of the speculation is the appeal to, basically like, I can't possibly understand or believe that something could be true, so I'm just going to assume that the opposite is true. This is just like, there's no way that if X was true, Clayton would do Y. Well, it's just speculation. And you don't know what Clayton would have done in XYZ situation. We don't know what Laura would have done. We don't know what the audience would have done. We can only look at what actually happened and gather as much evidence about that as possible.
P.H. Joy says most people don't file for parenting plans before the baby is born. That's definitely true.
Yeah. Or as her lawyer says, that she wasn't ever planning on having the babies. Most people don't file a parenting plan if you're not planning on having the children or child. And I also, there was something said that reminded me of this, that my original November 2nd, when I first ever posted that video, including the other, I don't even remember the dates of the other videos. It was all Clayton stuff that I posted initially on my channel. She reported all of those. So for people who came into the case March, April, February, anytime after basically like late November or December 2023, she reported all of my videos, publicly available court videos, to YouTube.
Right.
And she got the original November 2nd video removed from my channel.
Mm-hmm.
And I reposted it after I got approval from Reddit, or not Reddit, sorry, approval from YouTube to repost it to my YouTube channel.
Right.
So, like, even from, I can't remember what was said, but even from the beginning, like, when Liz Neptune, right?
Yeah.
Dave Neal, from anybody who started covering it and posting things about it,
Mhm.
she obviously attacked. She targeted.
Yeah. Okay. So
okay.
bear with me. I'm running out of fun segues because I'm tired. Voldemort says debating the matter on social media is going nowhere. It's only giving untalented YouTubers a chance to trash talk people. I mean, that's funny coming from someone who has like 700 subscribers or something, which is like in and of itself is not
500
that
bot.
bad. Like, yeah, it certainly seems that way. But like if you are a new YouTuber and you're not like tied into this case and stuff like that, and you like rocket up to 700 like subscribers or whatever, that's great. But like people are hate watching this guy, and he's like calling other people untalented, and those people are obviously like they have a much larger audience. People actually like listening to them talk. They find them credible, and the same cannot be said for Voldemort here.
Also,
It's just
what's
not
a
happening.
talented YouTuber? Where's the fucking guidelines for that?
I don't know. I guess
Yeah.
he knows so much about YouTube, just like he knows so much about copyright law. You know, what
Like,
I mean?
it's a
Again,
good idea to have a rifle in the background.
Again, it's just a point of opinion. But
Yes.
the real problem with it is that he often devolves into this rude speech,
Yeah.
Yes.
which he doesn't need to do. And, you know,
I don't think he has the skill to not do that. I think that, like,
Yeah, I mean, Omar's talked about how he sort of writes and he says these rude things and he knows he's doing it when he's doing it. Maybe he doesn't want to do it, but he can't stop himself.
exactly.
To me, this implies he needs serious therapy or some sort of help,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Yes, I agree. And he
To
says
not
he
do
had
that.
he says he has had a rough childhood, so
Yeah,
maybe go talk about that.
yeah.
Get some stuff figured out. And then maybe after you lose your license to practice in Arizona, maybe you actually can have a successful YouTube channel once you figure your shit out.
I mean, I'm not going to help him with that. I would have, but now I'm not
I
going to. Okay. Let's see. He says he's 100% sure that Rachel Mitchell will never try Laura for pregnancy fraud unless there's evidence he's never seen. We've established, and he himself has admitted, there's evidence, even the evidence in the trial that he was a part of, that he has not looked at. So, I mean, what the fuck?
Just like he didn't know there was a subpoena from Mike Marraccini.
Right, yeah, right.
don't know. It's just more speculation. I mean, he's not her. He can't say what she'll do. Only she can say what she'll do.
He says, you know, digging your heels in and pounding your fist doesn't make you right, and that is advice you should take yourself, sir.
Well, I mean, I don't know. If you go do the Eratosthenes well experiment, you go build the ISS and you take photos from space and you prove the Earth is an oblate spheroid, I'm gonna pound on the table and dig my feet in until somebody gives me better evidence.
This is
Like,
kind of random, Bruce.
That's how science works. The best theory stands until you replace it with a better theory. And until then, it will pound on the table and it will dig its heels in.
That's some Stephen Hawking shit right there.
Yeah, because it works, because it gives you a framework for good predictive, estimates. That's all science does. It gives you a good framework for predicting things that are accurate versus, well, I feel like this might work. I feel like if I jump off my roof, I might not be injured.
You know what else science does? It proves a pregnancy.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Maybe.
Yeah. Well, not if you're anonymous. So, okay. Random, but I was watching Bruce's flat Earth video where he explains what was it? Something starting with an O, spheroid.
Orgasm?
Oblate spheroid.
No. Oblate spheroid. Right. Yeah. And like, I fell asleep listening to that for some reason. Not because it was boring, but I think it was like late at night. I fell asleep listening to that, and then I was dreaming about you, and you were like lecturing me on different shapes. And it was just bizarre. And I did end up like re-watching and like listening to the whole video, but like I fell asleep in the middle of it the first time, and I was just like, "What is
Wait, what
happening?"
shapes? I was hacking a half lung out. What shapes?
You were obloid, something?
Obloid?
Obloid
An
sphere.
obloid? What's an obloid sphere?
What? I don't.
What?
Your
I think
mom's
it's,
breath.
I think it's an oblate spheroid.
An
No,
oblate?
if you think of a perfect sphere,
Oblate. Okay. That was
okay, a perfect sphere, right, which has the maximum amount of surface area for the minimum amount of volume. If you do
Yeah,
calculus, that's
obviously.
a perfect sphere. And then the Earth, the problem is it's not a perfect sphere. It's
Right.
like stretched because of
Nursing
astrophysics
for
or
4
whatever.
years.
No, well, I mean,
Does anyone in the comments believe that the Earth is flat? Please
oh
speak
boy.
now.
I mean,
I
oh
just want
boy.
to know why.
There's actually a whole thing going
I
on
believe
right now where
Laura's belly was flat.
there's actually a whole thing going on right now where there's a bunch of guys down in Antarctica doing stuff, and it's kind of interesting. I have to catch up on it, but there's
Mhm.
things happening to sort of refute a lot of the flat Earth stuff right now.
I love
It's
that
kind of
country.
fun. Kind of fun. Antarctica. Yeah.
Okay, so guys, this he had, and I have a bunch of notes here about stuff about Rule 26, about Holgate v. Baldwin, about Radcliffe v.
What's Rule
Rainbow.
26?
Shut up. It means shut up 26 times.
You're gonna be like, I'm never inviting you on again, and then a certain group of people are gonna be like, oh my god, yay!
No, that's not gonna happen. Fuck it. All right. So I'm gonna skip that part because honestly, it's a little boring, and we've heard it all a million times. And also, you should go watch his video if you want to hear that part. All right. So he then, says, basically, this will be his last video he releases for a long time. He appreciates the people who were, listening to him. And then he says the rest of JFC can go live on the flat Earth. Let's see. He says YouTube is not the place to debate this, which is really confusing because he's debating it on YouTube.
Yeah, I mean, and again, it gets back to, are you doing PR? Or because if you just want to do the law stuff, just go do the law stuff with the lawyers and it'll be fine. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
They'll be fine. You'll be fine. We will read the public court documents. It'll be fine. If you want to do PR and convince the public to change their minds, you have to do better.
I hope he does go into PR and meets a lot of people I hate. Anyways, that's this part at the end of this video here is when he says, my dead dog knows more about the law than Megan Fox.
Yep.
Or something like that.
Again, just rude. It's just devolving into rude statements.
Very professional, David.
You don't need it.
Very convincing.
It's rude.
If you have the facts on your side, you don't need shit like that.
Yeah. So the last one I have a recap for, or not a recap, but like notes that I want to talk about is the one where he's wearing the full Santa face and beard. And Laura is on there answering questions and like basically denying everything, even though the evidence has clearly come to light.
Go check it out on Tom Riddle's YouTube channel.
Yeah, right. So the thing is, it's already 12:20 here, so I'm gonna have to table this last one, and I'll go over that one. I don't know if you guys are available tomorrow night, but I will be. So I'll go over that one tomorrow night.
Any night for you, Lauren.
Hot. Okay.
You know it.
I don't like it when I'm pervy and then someone's pervy back. It doesn't. You're supposed to be uncomfortable.
I've been hiding it well.
I need a hug.
Yep, you sure do. We're gonna give you one. Let me just zip up my love suit and I'll be right over. Sweaty or not. Oh my gosh. All right, guys. If you are still wide awake and you want something to watch this video about the Loves. I'm gonna put it in the chat right now and pin it. this video where Bruce and I, like, he asked what I would be if I was a furry, and we said love loves. Schnitzel Ninja needs to watch this because she missed the context. But it is, I feel like it's a very underappreciated video. It's very funny, in my opinion.
Okay.
So I don't know. That's just my sense of humor, though. I'm kind of like a weirdo. All right. I will be back tomorrow night, guys, and I will see you then. Thanks, everyone, for coming. Thank you if you came from Shizzy Wiznut stream. Thank you very much. I cannot say it. If I try to say it fast, I can't say Shizzy Wiznut. I can say Shizzy Wiznut. I can't say Shizzy Wiznut.
Say Shizzy Wizzy.
Shizzy Wizzy.
Schwizzard.
Wiznut.
Yeah. Lauren
You're
has
a
a hard time
schwizzard
with
now,
pervs,
Schwizzy.
maybe.
Oh boy.
Lauren has a hard time with pervs. Do I have a hard time with pervs, or do I have a hard time with pervs? Anyways.
Oh.
Both.
All right, guys. I'll be here tomorrow night. Hopefully, I will see you all again then. I'll let you know what time. I'll post it on X, and I'll post it here on YouTube to the community page. So I'll also be doing a members-only stream either tomorrow or the next day. So thanks, everybody, for being here. Thank you for your support. I appreciate you. Thanks for entertaining me while I go through all this shit. So bye.
Bye, guys.
I ran out of things to say, so I'm just abruptly like, bye. Shut up. Bye.